Essendon going left.
McGrath on Salmon.
First quarter from the MCG. Excellent crowd, good conditions. And Essendon, as I said, going left. Salmon in the goal square. No one's making too much headway there. Poor Couch finishes up on the ground.
On the bench for Geelong is Hooper and Steele, who was best player for Geelong a couple of weeks ago. And for Essendon, Grenvold and Sean Denham.
And Chris Danaher with the job at this stage on Yabblett.
Barnes backhands it. Picked up for the Bombers by Joe Masiti, who's been having a magnificent year so far. Riccardi gets, well, not a very favourable bounce. Might be a push in the back there. And it's going to be an Essendon free kick. Be taken for them by Mark McCurry. Recruit from Keilor Park. Barnes up high. McGrath, as we mentioned, is on Salmon. Gee, he takes that over the boundary line. Didn't really try to disguise that too much. And it will be a boundary throw in Essendon's right forward pocket. Alessio, O'Donnell. Snap over his shoulder. Salmon in the front has taken the mark. Well, that shoulder we can see once again pretty heavily strapped. As Bernie mentioned, he got a knock on it and was troubled by it at the Western Oval, but he's so vital to Essendon's chances, isn't he?
Well, Jared, what is the benefit in strapping a shoulder? I mean, it's not going to immobilise it at all, is it?
No, perhaps they're just trying to give him some sort of support for that collarbone. It's popped out a little bit.
So Paul Salmon, first score of the day, shouldn't have any trouble converting, and he doesn't. The Bombers by a goal. Because he got met on it pretty heavily last week at the Western Oval, and at one stage, Gerard, he was having trouble lifting his arm above his shoulder, but it seems to be all right here.
Yes, doesn't show any side effects of it from that one, but good work there by O'Donnell. A quick kick out of the pack, tap down from Alessio. Good combination there from Essendon. Darren Buick is lining up for his 100th game of AFL football. A very dangerous player.
He's been a very good player for Essendon since coming over from Western Australia. Umpire Peter Cameron officiating in the big game here today with John Russo. So
bit of experience there.
Yes, I was just going to mention that, Pete. That's important. Here's Somerville. He's kicked towards full forward. Salmon gets back. Oh, he got his hands on it. Tim McGrath. He's going to have a big job there this afternoon. Ideal conditions for the big, tall forward. Goes through for a behind to Essendon.
Both centre bounces won easily by Essendon so far. Geelong will have to tighten up in the middle.
McGrath, short kick. Mark taken by Salmon.
There's
already
no doubt
having an influence, Jared, is Paul Salmon.
Yes, I think that's a fair comment, Robbo, but there's no doubt that McGrath has been placed onto Salmon to run off. And we saw there in that incident that he was trying to expose that weakness of Salmon being unable to pick him up. Instead of clearing it, though, he's kicked it straight to his man.
Well, Salmon's a real chance to score from here, about 45 metres. What a magnificent kick by Salmon. It's a goal. 2 goals already to the big full forward for Essendon, and Geelong have not forced it forward at all.
Yeah, not a great start from McGrath here. Very poor kick. He's looking for Hinkley up the centre, and it will be important for McGrath to put that out of his mind. He's had a bad start to the game, but he mustn't drop his bundle. If Geelong are to go on with this game, he must fire, or Blight will be forced to shift him.
So back to the centre, 2 goals to Paul Salmon. All the scoring done by the Bombers. Barnes contesting, wins that one. Pickering overruns it. So too does O'Donnell, who goes for a quick hand pass to Buick onto Oggerenshaw. Oggerenshaw from the middle, chips it in short, up towards half forward. McGrath gets cannoned into by his own man in Hocking. And Hocking kicks it back. Alessio has to leave it, and the mark taken by Riccardi. Might be a free kick. Oh, no, he's taken it.
Well, Barnes won that tap out clearly, but once again, Essendon more enthusiastic coming off the fringes of the square, and they once again cleared the centre bounce.
Well, I was right. There was a free kick. I didn't see what it was for. Did you, Robert?
No, but it's I think that's big Stephen O'Reilly, isn't it, with the football?
O'Reilly kicks to centre wing. Big pack of players. None can bring it down. Pickering off the carpet. Scott was there. Buick. And as we said, game number 100 on to Mark Harvey, who was one of their best against Footscray last week in a beaten side. McGrath this time makes better position and takes the mark. Oh, it's going close to the boundary line and over, out in the full, so plenty of pressure on the young cat defender, and Darren Buick will take the free.
Just a little disappointed in Mark Harvey's kick then, Peter. Bombers a little fortunate here.
Salmon again. Of course, last week at Footscray, Alessio had to leave the ground early. Sheedy had to bring Salmon up from the goal square to play him in the ruck, and that put the balance of the side out for the rest of the afternoon. Too strong, too tall.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that if Essendon can afford to leave this guy at full forward, what a bonus it is for them.
He'd kick a hundred,
well, he's going
wouldn't
to be too strong and too tall for most of the players out there. And it really is just a matter of who else have Geelong got to put down there.
Not just a matter of being tall. He moves so well for a big guy,
my
doesn't he?
word, yes. Got very good athleticism.
He might have hooked that one a little bit. We'll have to wait on the goal umpire. And one behind. So Paul Salmon's total 2 goals, 1. And he's kicked them pretty quickly.
Now, it'll be interesting to see how Blight reacts to this. Many coaches would change it directly, and others would say, well, let the boy settle down. Let's see if he can fight back. I hope he gives him a chance, and it's a long game. Let's see if he can get back on top of Salmon.
I think he's made the change already, Jared. As a free kick is picked out of that marking duel at right half back. It's taken by Barnes. Oh, he was nearly going to handball it away. Buick there to pick up Gary Hocking, but Barnes's kick goes towards the wing. Darcy, good effort, Tim Darcy.
Yeah,
and
right,
nearly played on there.
They have moved O'Reilly back onto Salmon. Very reactive coaching from Blight.
Good play by Derek Kickett. Away to Izard, who's back in this Bomber lineup. And another Essendon mark. This time it's Hurd. And Bombers alight in the early minutes of the big game at the MCG. James Hurd, about 40 metres out.
Yeah, strong mark there. He is very good overhead and a pretty good shot at goal, young Hurd.
Took 16 marks in a game at the MCG here last year. That kick is inaccurate. Unfortunately for James Hurd, he's just kicked a behind for Essendon, so they're 2-3, and still Geelong to open their account. In the reserves, Geelong were thrashed by Essendon. Essendon 26-10 beat Geelong 12-12.
O'Reilly, good long kick to the outer side. Hurd again. One straight into Barnes. Umpire Peter Cameron not bothering to apply 50 metres. But for 1 minute, I think there was one there. Salmon again.
This is my point, Peter. I don't think there is anybody in the Geelong combination that will stop this man if he's in full flight. O'Reilly's had an opportunity for a couple of minutes. I think he should stay with one man and allow him to settle down.
Nice little shepherd there by Alessio too.
Well, the pressure's got to be put on the players up the ground, surely. That just looks so regimental, didn't it?
Yes, he's going to, whoever is there will need support from the fringe players coming around and blocking the hole for Salmon. He's just filling space at the present time.
40 metres out directly in front. Salmon's kicked his third. Dream start to Essendon. The amazing fact is, Gerard, too, Geelong have yet to cross the centre line.
Yes, I was thinking that myself, Peter. I was wondering how Gary Yabblett was feeling down there. He'll have to do a few more hamstring stretches because he'd be almost getting cold.
Why don't they put him in the middle for 2 minutes and stir it up a bit?
Not a bad idea, Robbo, but pretty good execution there from Salmon.
Awkward bounce, but the punch forward by Somerville. Nearly a gather there by Simons. Ball comes clear. Scott, the tackle was effective. Bairstow. Now McGrath. McGrath's kick to right half forward. Mark taken by Hickmott.
He's very exciting young talent, Hickmott. His other redhead, McGrath, plays better at centre half forwards. Centre half back, I should say, as we saw him clearing that one.
Yabblett in a pack of 3 players, and much to the delight of Peter Landy. Gary Yabblett has marked about 35 metres out, directly in front.
Wasn't it a superb?
Well, he's such a strong person for a guy of about, what, just over 6'1".
Incredible power.
And he'll kick the distance quite easily. And he kicks it straight. So at last, Geelong break their duck. They're 1 goal, but Essendon have skipped away. They're 3-3.
And this really is the power man of football. He is just so strong in the upper body and incredibly powerful legs also, which allows him to propel that football almost any distance he likes at times. That one going another 60 metres.
So Gary Yabblett getting the Cats' first score. Essendon has 3 to Paul Salmon, so the superstars in action early. Somerville a fresh air shot, lets Bairstow in. The Cats out of the centre at long last. Pickering tries front position, gets outmanoeuvred, and a good mark is taken down there by Bomber Thompson. Kicks to half-back. Fletcher was the target, the rookie, the son of former Essendon captain Ken Fletcher. Going to be a Geelong free kick here to be taken by Neeld.
Against Fletcher.
Neeld at left centre wing. Good long kick. Ablett the target. Harvey fisted away from him and Tudor. Boundary throw in.
And that's the sort of support that Geelong will need to get down at the other end. Harvey coming across there. He saw Chris Danner in a bit of trouble there with Ablett. He came across to support and knocked it out of bounds.
Somerville and Neeld. Gary Hocking. Quick right foot snap. Oh, that's a brilliant piece of football. Geelong second. What a lift. 2 goals to 3-3. The Cats very quickly back in it.
Yes, an instinctive goal from Gary Hocking. He's been in supreme form. See Neeld here doing the ruck work with Somerville. Ball comes out from Tudor and just threw it onto the boot. Didn't really have much chance to think about it. Let the subconscious control that. That's when good players play their best.
Well, he's been a terrific player, as you already mentioned. Barnes doing the ruck work up against Somerville, and until a couple of years ago they were teammates. Gary Hocking. Fletcher can't control the football. Chance for Darcy. He's hemmed in, but gets the hand pass. Bairstow creatively wide. McGrath's long kick to within goal scoring distance for the Cats. Danaher and Ablett. Ball comes to the rear. Thompson gets his kick back, and a great diving mark taken by Hickmott. But it's out of bounds back where Thompson had kicked the football. So maybe Essendon a little fortunate there, because Hickmott was well within scoring distance, and the ruckman will contest this boundary throw in the right forward pocket for Geelong. Somerville gets it out. Harvey with some sort of space and kicks it back near the centre of the ground. The race is on. Hurd's read that quite nicely. James Hurd, handball wider still. Grabbed when he didn't have the football. No, Mercury ducks and weaves and gets out of trouble. But the free kick will go back to the centre wing position, where the free kick has been paid to Hills. Hills short kick. Marcus taken by Buick, looking to take his opponent on. No, beautiful pass, wonderful lead, and Salmon's got it again.
Yes, good football from Essendon. Really are showing their skills. Brought that from defence into attack fairly quickly. Infringement midfield has set them up. And Buick, if he is allowed to get on his own, will pinpoint passes all day. A marvellous kick.
Played a great game for Essendon over in Perth against the Eagles. I think he kicked about 8 goals, Darren Buick, that day. He's today playing his 100th game for the Bombers. But here we're looking at Paul Salmon going for goal number 4. He's riding it home. He's happy with it. No. 3 goals, 2. Salmon. Well, it's a good start, but you mentioned, Peter, that Geelong settled down and got 2 goals fairly quickly to make some sort of an impact on the Essendon league. I think it'll be a terrific goal-scoring game. Both sides, I think, will kick in excess of 20 goals today.
Stephen O'Reilly kicks in. Salmon's second opponent. Oller and Shaw pushing the back. There's the nose on your face. Masiti, as I mentioned earlier, having a great season. McGrath, good block. Geelong had the numbers at the fall of the ball. Couch, the Brownlow medalist, sets up Neeld, has to beat 2. Hills
pushing
the
free
kick. It'll be a Geelong free kick.
It's against Fletcher to Neeld.
Just pushed him as he was kicking the football, Neeld.
Neeld at left centre wing. Ablett will be the target. Oh, there's 4 of them there. He still takes the mark. 4 Essendon opponents surrounded Gary Ablett, and he took a beautiful mark. Look at them.
Yes, good body work from Ablett. Just a quick push with the left arm. A legitimate one. No problems with that. And we often do see him just falling back, taking the easy chest mark. Bomber Thompson, I thought, could have come over the top.
Angle's pretty acute. He may have missed to the far side as he kicked it, and one behind to Gary Ablett, who's now kicked 1 goal 1 from 2 sensational marks. Paul Salmon at the other end has 3 goals 2. So the superstars a light early here at the MCG. Fletcher making a lead. Thompson goes to the outer side. Not a particularly good kick. Pickering gets the front position. Right foots it back in the Harvey direction, off hands, and Gavin Wanganeen will be content to let the ball go through for a rush behind to Geelong. So the Cats now to 2 goals, 2, trailing Essendon 3 goals 4.
That's Wanganeen in the picture. He received a bit of publicity during the week as being very much a target of opposition teams, but that's what happens when you become a key player. They kicks it into the far side. Hills leaves it behind. For Geelong now, it's Pickering. Pickering's kick. He's taken it over the boundary line, has he?
Yes.
No, he hasn't.
No.
There's going to be a free kick, and it's going back to where Pickering kicked the football.
I think he was out of bounds anyway. Let's watch it closely.
Well, Paul Hills pushed him as he kicked. I don't quite know the umpire's interpretation of that, but anyway, the kick was taken. Kick off the ground was by Tudor. Kick it. Oh, gee, did well to find some space for himself. Kicks it across the goals. And Harvey taps it over the top. Goes after it again. Good, tough stuff by Harvey. Kick there by Mercury is close to the line, and it bounces over for a throw-in. It was Ollerenshaw, actually. And the ball goes over on centre wing. And the ruckman again to contest this. Somerville. Barnes held when he was going for it, and Peter Cameron saw that, so Barnes takes the free kick for the Cats.
John Barnes at right centre wing. Looks for a lead. Kneeled, doesn't let him down. Busy in the first quarter so far. Kicks inside 50. Yabblett couldn't take that one. Would have been a real specky. Hills. Quick hand pass. Danaher. Back to Harvey, having a great season. Has to get around Riccardi. Tries once, tries twice. Finally succeeds. Couch. Or bad hand pass under pressure. O'Donnell, little chip off the ground. Essendon should be able to get away with this. They will. Masiti at right half back. Kicks to Hills, who is also having having a fantastic season. Salmon. Darcy at the back of the pack. Salmon's already kicked 3 goals to Simons. Or did he get a push in the back? Yes. Peter Cameron doesn't miss those.
Well, he's just about played on there, Peter, hasn't he? He has called time off.
Darren Buick was getting a bit excited in the goal score.
He certainly was, and he did force him to run around. Here we see Simon shooting a goal.
Point blank range. Gets the goal. So the Bombers maintain their advantage, leading by 14 points, 4-4 to 2-2.
As we have another look at this free kick, it is definitely a push in the back. Caused him to force to drop the ball, and a lovely low trajectory shot at goal from young Simons. He's playing on the flank, being manned up by Darcy.
Essendon 4-4, Geelong 2-2. The bounce favours Somerville, but he couldn't quite get his fist to it. O'Donnell clears up towards the half forward. It's a free kick. It's going to hurt against Hinkley. Hinkley not happy. But umpire Russo was in a terrific spot to make that judgment. So James Hird will kick from 50 metres.
Once again, Salmon still allowed to lead into space, which is poor play from the Geelong defenders. There's another loose man.
Hird would be a chance. It's a lovely long kick. Right on the goal line, it's been marked for Geelong by Barnes.
It's good ruck work from Barnes, dropping back, Robbo, giving some support. Alessio, a tall man down there for Essendon.
Well, he did play very well in 2 finals, wasn't he? He was best on the ground in one of them last year. The kick goes back near the centre of the ground. Well, Harvey's backed himself, but Ollerenshaw was there. He's a promising young player. And Masiti, another youngster, into full forward mark. Alessio. Gee, the big guys are giving the Cats a huge run around so far in this match.
Well, they did, as we said at the start of the game, pick a very tall side, and the post-mortem will always say whether it was a great move or a poor move. It was always going to win or lose this game for Essendon. At the present time, it's working off.
Alessio from 40 metres. Good kick by Stephen Alessio. It's a goal.
Yes, I guess, Stuart, having an eye to the conditions, isn't it? The weather's been great, so it really sets up the Tors to take some big grabs on the forward line.
Yes, if it's going to work against you, the big guys mustn't be allowed to take easy marks, and they must get run off by their respective opponents. For Essendon at the present time, Alessio and Salmon are both dominating. McGrath having trouble with both.
So 4 goals between Salmon and Alessio so far. 2 big guns of the Bomber forward line. Somerville against Barnes this time. Somerville again. Didn't play last week. O'Donnell flips it over the top. Sometimes they're construed as throws. Not this time though. Ollerenshaw from Masiti. Oh, that's a strong mark.
It's been a good battle so far, Peter. Hurd on top of Hinkley.
Hinckley's been quieted. That free kick played against him too. Barnes tried to punch it through. Mercury gets pinned. Buick in the goal square, snaps and gets it. It's a Bomber blitz at the MCG. Much different to last week at Footscray, 6-4 to 2-2.
Yes, they came out to play today. Darren Buick getting his first goal for the afternoon. A very dangerous player. We saw him playing as a mobile half forward in the night series. This is more of a rover type goal.
Good effort here by Mercury, I thought.
Hurd, Mercury and Buick figuring in that goal. Kicked by Darren Buick, his first. 6-4 to 2-2. Just over 9 minutes left in the first quarter. And it's been a brilliant turn so far by the Bombers. Out to prove something certainly after last week at Footscray. Free kick going Geelong's way. And it'll be taken by Gary Hocking, who kicked that magnificent goal with the right foot snap earlier. Hocking from the centre square. Again, Yabblett will be the target. Has to try to beat 3 of them. He's going to get a free kick for interference. Yabblett well within kicking distance.
And at the present time, that's the difference between both sides. Geelong's key, Yabblett, is fighting against numbers, whereas up the other end, Essendon are finding space.
No free kick in that.
No, not at all.
Yabblett shoots from about 50 metres. Lovely kick by Yabblett. That's one thing about Gary Yabblett. He very, very easily gets the distance from 50 metres. Doesn't matter which ground and no matter what conditions.
Let's have a look at this free.
Oh, nothing.
Danaher has got the hand, but I would have thought the free kick went the other way. A push out against Yabblett to Harvey. Anyhow, the umpire is left to his interpretation.
Well, Gary Yabblett has kicked 2 down the other end. Salmon has kicked 3 for Essendon. Darren Steele has taken his place on the ground. He started on the interchange bench. Gary Hocking. Bairstow's caught. Chance now for Mercury. Ollerenshaw, the tackler. Kick to full forward. Salmon drops it. In comes Stephen Hocking. Handball wide. Chance for Hinkley. Cats will get out. Hinkley's handball into the middle. Gary Hocking. Hinkley again. Loves to run with the footy. Kenny Hinkley screaming down the centre of the MCG. Kicks to full forward. Ablett's got it again. So what a treat today at the MCG. Salmon down one end and Ablett down the other. And they've kicked 5 goals between them so far.
And that really was Hinkley's first influence on this game, but it was marvellous play by Hinkley. He just held the ball until Ablett ducked and weaved and found some space.
Ablett from about 35 metres hooks the kick and kicks her behind. I saw Essendon play Collingwood on this ground a few weeks ago, and James Hurd, who's an exciting prospect for the Bombers, and I was quite critical of his defensive ability against Shane Morwood, who set up plays for Collingwood across half-back. And that's one of the things that he's got to be very, very careful of with Kenny Hinkley.
Well, it's an important fact today because Hinkley is one of the most attacking half-backs in the game.
Certainly one of the most mobile. Masiti marks that low trajectory kick in. Up towards midfield. Barnes punches down. Fletcher tries for the quick hand pass. Gary Hocking on the intercept. Got a push to catch ball though. Bairstow, a chip shot from midfield. And they're going to come away with this. Good hand pass taken away by Pickering. Now the Cats go forward again. Kick it, well tackled by Steele, who's just come onto the ground, as Robbo mentioned. It'll be a boundary throw in, right forward pocket for Geelong. Gary Yabblett 2-2 against his name, Paul Salmon 3-2. Yabblett, of course, had a great goal-kicking duel with Peter Dacos when they met at Victoria Park a few weeks back. Pickering to Scott, right in the pocket, centering kick. Who's out there? This is Hickmott. Danaher, spiral punt kick, gets it out of defence and covers quite a few metres. Barnes didn't try for the mark.
Free kick, Peter.
Straight to Ollerenshaw.
Essendon free kick to Simons.
Simon's taking his second free kick of the day, kicked a goal with the previous one. Big pack of players. Barnes got a fingernail to it. McGrath back to Buse. Mercury in pursuit. He's gone out wide. Hocking, good vision. Hocking over the top. Riccardi just off the edge of the square. Hills in pursuit. Not a well-delivered kick. And Mark Harvey at the true centre-half back position takes the mark. Having a great season so far.
My word, Mark Harvey. Oh, bad kick. Going to get out of trouble, though. Wanganeen was there to give him a hand. Harvey's mistake was that he kicked into the man on the mark. Oh, big leap by Hinkley. Hurt quick, though. O'Donnell. Salmon. O'Reilly. And the Cats out of trouble because Stephen Hocking gathers the awkward ball and kicks it across the face of goal out to the left back pocket where McGrath and then Gary Hocking combine. Gary Hocking's kick into the centre. Through comes Thompson. Hard at the football. Slippery little hand pass for Alessio, too severe. But the big man's capable of collecting the football. And he kicks it to the front of the goals. Simon's at the back. Ball rebounds to the front of the pack where Gary Hocking will be forced over by Simons. No, he wasn't. Terrific football. Salmon off the ground. Through from behind.
Well, an incredibly poor mistake there from Gary Hocking. Under all that pressure, he tried to bring the ball back into play. As we see Mark Thompson a little bit worse for wear, but Hocking should have just taken that ball over the line for a point.
And Riley, I think it was in that collision with McGrath that Thompson came off second best. Scott still got some blistering speed. Up the half forward, Yabblett put out of position this time. No mark taken and no free kick. Out it comes to Fletcher. Yabblett in pursuit. The youngster out wide. Rossetti. Danaher. Thompson seems to be okay. Back to kick it, and he will. Long left footer, but straight to Buse. So a wasted kick. A sea of Essendon players down there, and he picked out the one Geelong Guernsey amongst them. Pickering. Like Paul Salmon with the shoulder. Pretty heavily strapped. McGrath. Good long kick into attack. Yabblett and Danaher. Great mark by the great man.
Well, Chris Danaher will be in trouble if he tries to compete in a strength battle with Gary Yabblett. Very few people could hold him off.
4 marks.
Once again, Tim McGrath bringing the ball down quickly, and that's when Yabblett will be at his best and most dangerous, because it will leave he and Danaher one out.
Had to beat the AFL tribunal during the week after that collision with John Gastev at the Gabba last week. Yabblett directly in front, 45 metres out. Doesn't usually miss these. Hasn't missed that one. What a goal-kicking feast. Yabblett 3-2, Salmon 3-3. Gerard?
Yes, the stars, 2 of the stars of the game, Peter, both performing their deeds at this wonderful stadium. Now, how quickly Geelong transfer this ball straight down the corridor. They have been criticised in the past for going wide, but this year have made a concerted effort to bring the ball back up the middle from the back line.
Well, fantastic performance by Yabblett and also Salmon at the other end. Gary Hocking, his hand pass intercepted by O'Donnell. And O'Donnell kicks it in towards full forward for Essendon. The crumbs to be gathered by Hurd. Tries to get the hand pass back in the Izzard direction. Izzard with pace, outruns Steve Hocking. Gets back onto the left foot, kicks it in towards full forward, but a good mark taken by McGrath, who was cut up in the early minutes by Salmon and is now playing across the half-back line. Gets it off to Bairstow, in turn to Scott, and Scott marks it right half-back for the Cats.
Ogden Shaw standing the mark. Scott kicks to centre wing, and Neal, having a pretty good first quarter, takes the mark right on the boundary line.
Underrated young player.
He's been played in a few key positions too, including full-back in his stint with the Cats. No mark taken. Roving it well was the Brownlow medalist, Paul Couch. Funny-looking kick. The end result might be okay. Yabblett slung off the ball. Snapshot. He's got his 4th. Gary Yabblett stacks 4 marks, 6 kicks, 4 goals. The Cats 5-3, Essendon 6-5.
Yes, on top of 8 goals last week. He is an amazing footballer, Gary Yabblett. Every week he produces a pearl. Even if he's down, he still delights the fans with a number of artistic and great acts. And have a look at this goal. It was impeded by Danaher. Would have drawn the free kick, but didn't need it, just drilled it anyhow.
Well, there aren't enough superlatives, really, to describe the Champion in the number 5, Geelong Guernsey. Bairstow tries to crash his way through. He's caught with the football, but he gets the hand pass away for Scott. Hickmott shepherds well, and Scott's kick across his left shoulder in the Yabblett direction. Oh, he jumped a little bit early. In there is Poole, but Chris Danaher knocks it over. Not Poole, Steele rather, and it's over for a boundary throw.
I think one of the big tasks, Robbo, in AFL football is coming back from injury, and Mark Bairstow is his second game, and that's often the most difficult one. You get yourself pumped up for your first one back, but producing again in the second is very, very difficult.
Fumbled by Harvey. Chance for Steele. Out in front of goals, Hills with Riccardi. Riccardi has the speed, had the ball, dropped it or let it go. Umpire calls play on. Wanganeen in pursuit. Still Riccardi, does well. Masiti lets it go. Opportunity for Buick. Pickering's there. And the snapshot came from Spiro Malakalis has put it through for a behind. 6-5 to 5-4 with just over a minute left in the first quarter.
See what a quarter it's been, Peter.
Magnificent football.
Great start by Essendon, but Geelong just pegging away.
Derek Kickett to bring it in, which he does. Danaher with Ablett. Poor kick. And the 89 Brownlow medalist again, this time a long bomb. Right on 50, 2 bombers back there, Kickett and Wanganeen. And they'll both figure in this play. The hand pass from Kickett. He's given it to Wanganeen. A free kick was paid. And then he called play on, it seemed. Now,
out of bounds, Clint. For what reason?
Out of bounds, next to the behind post. Well, I didn't see that. Seemingly Kickett had the ball. 2 Geelong players fight each other. Let's Harvey in. Tackled well by Neeld. Wanganeen and Gary Hocking having a slight disagreement. Harvey gets up to lend some weight to the situation. And we'll see a bounce with 45 seconds left in the term. As Robbo mentioned, it has been action-packed. Somerville over the top. Hickmott. Hocking. Oh, goes back the wrong way. Hills taken high. No free kick. Masiti. 2 Geelong players again. Hocking. Neeld. Snapshot. And 1 behind. Mark Neild's first scoring shot at the opening term. 5-5 to 6-5 a goal.
He was excellent at centre-half forward, Neeld, against Hawthorn 2 weeks ago. A superb player. Didn't get much of a run there last week against the Bears. Good to see him back there today.
And Kickett goes in short. Olarin has taken the mark. Short kick. Bairstow bashes it over the boundary line. And this could be the last passage of play in the first quarter. Essendon with 6-5. Geelong with 5-5. In a very entertaining first term. So that is the quarter time score. Essendon lead by 6 points, 6-5 to 5-5.
It's the name of the game.
Second quarter from the MCG. Umpire Peter Cameron to put the ball down. Only a goal the difference after the Bombers bolted away early when Paul Salmon kicked 3 goals. But Gary Ablett answered with 4 goals too. So top conditions. The sun now behind the cloud. Tap on by Barnes up to the edge of the square. Fletcher couldn't handle it. Now he's got a second chance. Harvey it is to finally get the hand pass out to O'Donnell. Masiti quick to Buick. This way, that way. Little chip shot into Alessio. Scott beats him to it though, and well done. Riccardi at left centre wing. Riccardi short pass, and he's found Hickmott. Decides not to waste any time. Poor catch. The trusty left foot over the head of Hocking. Thompson and Buick were there for Essendon. And that's another poor kick, another turnover. This time he's kicked it straight back to Couch. And both coaches won't be too happy with that. Maybe Geelong can make something of this. Ablett in front and a mark, if you don't mind.
There's a new opponent now, Peter. Derek Kickett has been placed down on Gary Ablett. But he gave you too much space on that occasion. You cannot give Gary Ablett a run at the football. You've got to cut him off before he gets the leap going. And very, very strong hands.
Oh, wasn't it a grip? I felt the air surge out of the football, Peter.
He wasn't letting go of that. Ablett for number 5. Awkward looking kick off the boot, wasn't it? And he's now kicked 4 goals 3.
Awkward to say the least. It was an absolute shocker from the great man.
5-6. The Cats total. 5 points the difference. Derek Kickett to bring the ball back into play.
Well, Kickett with a big job. He comes to the near side. The lead was on by Thompson. Sweeping handball for Wanganeen. He's got some support, but the hand pass was too high. Bairstow in trouble. Yabblett. There's a goal coming up. Steele. No, he's missed. Another shocking kick. They've let Essendon off the hook.
Danaher hurt in that collision with Yabblett.
Yes, he had both legs taken under him, and that is a very dangerous situation for players. That's how you do knee ligaments.
Kick goes to the far side. Mercury not quite hard enough at it, but he's able to recover and gather quite nicely. He kicks up towards the wing where Ollerenshaw marks in front of Hurd and from behind Scott. So Rick Ollerenshaw, he's been persevered with. He's had a few chances already this year. Big punch from O'Reilly back near the centre of the ground. Mercedes, now O'Donnell. Nearly caught with the football and then gave it away. Pickering away for Hinkley. Hinkley short kick. Hocking. Too many loose players for the Cats. Now chance for Bairstow. Short pass. Effective. Hickmott marks inside 50 metres. Geelong jumpers streaming everywhere down towards the full forward line. Yablett's back in the goal square. If Hickmott kicks it quickly, he's only got one against two other Essendon opponents in the square. But Hickmott goes for goal and misses. First score for Adrian Hickmott as James Hurd has the physio have a look at his right knee.
He's just testing the integrity of that lateral ligament there.
Chris Danaher seems to be all right, though. He's moving freely. He ran away from the trainers previously.
Just like to make a point about Derek Kickett, Peter. I've seen him kick out on a number of occasions for Essendon, and many, many times he has mucked it up. If he continues to do that one, the long kick, he won't get into trouble.
Ollerenshaw to Harvey. Harvey from the circle. Low trajectory kick up to Salmon, who has to palm it down, fends off an opponent, kicks it goal. McGrath in the last line of defence. Bringing play to the other side now. Stephen Hocking. Buse marking in front of Mercury. Much on offer for him close in. So he goes long. Again, Essendon with the numbers. Fletcher punches down. Pickering just off the edge of the centre square decides to go for a bounce. 20-metre hand pass to Scott right on 50. Blazes away from there, and Yabblett shepherds it through pretty heavily, and Peter Cameron says all clear. So Robert Scott kicks his first goal. Some heavy work in the goal square by the great man himself, and the Cats have hit the front.
Well, it's taken a fair while coming, this one for Geelong. They've had 3 shots already at goal for 3 points. Good work by Pickering here, just drawing the player, setting up Scott, and good to see him taking the responsibility at shooting from goal from a long way out.
Long goal kicked by Scott, and Geelong in front now for the first time. They lead by 3 points, 44-41. Peter Russo has found a free kick, and it will be going Essendon's way. It will be taken by Mercedes just short of the centre square. Mercedes kicks to half forward, and good mark by Hurd. Gets rid of it quickly onto Mercury. Mercury back to O'Donnell. They actually lost something in terms of meterage. Barnes thumps the ball to ground. Darcy, quick hand pass, and Stephen Hocking will get clear.
Hocking's kick goes to a vacant centre-half forward area, and the player ducking back is his brother Gary Hocking. Marks and handballs away to Couch, and Couch kicks with penetration. The free kick is going to Yabblett against Kickett. Being held was the way the umpire indicated.
Yes, it was well set up by Paul Couch. Gary Yabblett just called for that ball. Now you see him faint. Not much in it. The hand was there, but really I think the umpire came in by the actions of Gary Yabblett falling to the ground. Pretty tight angle for the big fella.
He runs around and puts it through for a goal.
5-3 he's kicked.
Big concern for Essendon because it's been a while since they scored a goal. And Geelong go marching on. 7-8, plays 6-5.
Yes, and Kickett bewildered about that decision. He thought he was quite hard done by. And I think that's a pretty poor decision from the umpire on that occasion.
Yabblett, 5 goals, 3. Salmon, 3 goals, 3. The Bombers, though, want a quick reply now. Barnes with Alessio at the centre bounce. Barnes it is. Tries for Hocking. Scoops it out in the Scott direction. Hocking with the Shepherd. Bairstow. Back to Scott. Runs into Danaher. Steele, formerly of North Melbourne. Low trajectory. Left foot. Yabblett. Can't take the mark. Call a news conference. Onto his left foot. Quickly. Past Hickmott. Essendon with the numbers though in the goal square. Fletcher. Riccardi. Hills. Barnes. Pops it up high. Hocking's the man in front. Is that 50? No, says Peter Cameron.
It's quite obvious, Peter, that Geelong are starting to get the ball away from the centre far too easily. Bernie mentioned at quarter time that that's where the game's starting and finishing.
Gary Hocking and Mark Bairstow have really had a big influence on this first couple of minutes in this quarter. Hocking
and Barnes.
And Barnes, certainly. Hocking had a big first quarter. Bairstow quiet, but he has also lifted his work rate.
Gary Hocking kicked one in the first quarter with that delightful snapshot. He's hooked this one a little bit. One behind. So a point only to the Cats on a roll at the moment. And that takes their score to 7-9, leading Essendon by 10 points.
Actually, their last, 5 or 8 minutes have been disappointing for the chances they've had, haven't they?
Yes, they could have certainly kicked 3 or 4 goals.
Chris Danaher and Riccardi. Steele's caught with a football, not penalised. Riccardi gets the ball clear for Buse. Buse goes wider. Scott having an influence. Left foot kick by that player. Oh, up high was Hickmott. Couldn't control it. Thompson in trouble. The ball kicked clear by Mercedes. And it's over for a boundary throw-in.
I think it's interesting the way Blight's using Darren Steele. He recruited him from North Melbourne, and he's a classical hard-working player, and he just offsets Geelong's forward line, which is chock full of mercurial players. Well, gives him a hard worker down there.
Izard clears the ball back near the centre of the ground. Awkward bounce for Mercury. Hooks it back in and then flips it out. Buick off the ground. Now the race is on. Hills falls over, tries to backhand it for Buick. Buick caught by Stephen Hocking. Barnes. Now Mercury eventually controls the football, which is probably a little bit difficult to handle. The pressure around the ground has been increased. McGrath takes the hand pass and then kicks it up towards left half forward. Mark, no, it's a free kick to Thompson against Couch for holding on. Umpire Cameron asking Paul Couch to move back as Thompson kicks Essendon over centre wing. No mark. Buick controls it. Sweeping hand pass for Mercedes. Mercedes in towards centre half forward. Essendon haven't had the ball here all that often. Still there to be won. Chance now for Simons. Pace probably a little bit too fast. James Hird. Tackled by Barnes. Tackled by McGrath. But a free kick has gone to Hird. Maybe against Barnes. A little too high on James Hird.
At the present time, Geelong have got Gary Hocking in the centre of the ground by himself, which means it must be a loose Essendon player.
Kick towards Salmon. He's got it.
Denham on and Somerville off.
Great kick by Hird to the front of the goals. Salmon has it about 30 metres out.
Yes, well, where Salmon marks this ball is the hole, as we call it in AFL football. Hinkley doing his best to lend support, but on that occasion, just too tall.
3 goals kicked by Paul Salmon in the first quarter. Hasn't got one in the second so far. 406 career goals. That's his 4th today. Handy one for the Bombers. 7-5 to 7-9. 4 points the difference.
So this is where Geelong must try and get one of their ruckmen to come out with Salmon, follow his footsteps, because he is going to be the only player big enough to punch away those hands. Salmon takes the ball at full stretch.
Only 4 points the difference under 17 minutes left in the second quarter. Barnes with that high leap, missed Pickering. Hills grabbed, pulled off the ball. Umpire says free kick, and it's going the Bombers' way. Hills at midfield to put Essendon back into attack. Kicks inside 50. Barnes is the only one there, and Barnes takes the safe mark. Over to Darcy. Shepherders by Hocking. Kick out wide. Danaher. Good to see he wasn't severely injured in that clash before. As you had mentioned, could have been a knee, but everything okay. Izard with a good bump. Ball kept in play, or hasn't been. No, it's out of bounds. So throw in Geelong's left half forward flank, or Essendon's left half forward flank, I beg your pardon. 16 minutes left in this term. Alessio with Barnes, Ogger and Shaw. A quick kick, Salmon, one hand to it. McGrath should be able to do the tidying up work. Gets around Hurd okay. Goes close to the boundary line, and Bairstow has marked it, yes, just inside. It's the first few games of the year through injury. Bairstow to midfield. This is Steele. Good penetrating kick. Hickmott the target. Harvey punches clear. Ball into the arms of Pickering. Formerly of North Melbourne. Ablett again. Kicks, and this time misses.
Well done by Dustin Fletcher there. You can easily give up by watching Gary Ablett control the game, but that young man went very, very hard and quite fairly put Ablett off in his shot for goal.
5-4 as Kickett brings the ball back.
Looking for Izzard. Oh, just a little fortunate.
Makes me nervous when he kicks out there and Kickett.
Doesn't he ever? Essendon supporters must have their hearts in their mouths. Izzard's kick goes wider still, and Alessio takes a very casual mark. Obviously he's under control. And his kick goes towards half forward. No mark taken, but O'Donnell gathers it quite nicely. He's kicking towards centre half forward. Mercury at the back. Further behind was O'Reilly, and he gathers it and runs away from full back, approaches half back, and then with his little left foot pass, looks out here for Neal. Fletcher was the tackler. Hills is there for Essendon. Still got the footy, but in his endeavours, Mark Neal's not too happy with the umpire. The ball goes over for a boundary throw-in.
I saw O'Reilly play his first game of AFL football against St Kilda, and he really did appear a little slow, but today he has impressed me on a number of occasions, running quickly with the ball.
Mercury, Hills, Mercury was the sequence. Salmon in the square, touched off hands, and Salmon caught one just as the ball ricocheted off and through for number half.
And O'Reilly, of course, was recruited to fill that gap at full back, and you saw him infringing upon Paul Salmon, but didn't go anywhere near his jaw there, as Paul would have us believe.
Hinkley, a little dummy.
Simons will get him.
I think so.
Oh, chased by the kick. No, it was
too high.
No, it wasn't. It was the Geelong shepherd on Simons.
But I didn't think there was anything in it, Pete. Bravo.
Well, we'll take another look at that.
As he said, McGrath came across too high with the arm that was shepherding. And it didn't appear to impede him at all, did it?
Let's take a look. Hinkley just about to, yes, too high behind. A glancing blow. Simons kicks and gets the goal. His second. And both from free kicks, the first one in the first quarter, similar distance out, similar result, 8-6 to 7-10.
Jared, how do you feel about the free kicks? I mean, is it a good idea to keep on giving free kicks like this? I mean, if they're consistent with that, the supporters don't mind, do they?
No, they don't mind. I mean, you must say on that occasion that Peter Cameron was justified in paying that free kick, I'll give you, because you must protect the player's head. It was a forearm. It didn't really impede him at all.
Essendon 54, Geelong 52. We're about halfway through the second term. It's been a pretty entertaining clash, but I must reiterate that Bernie Quinlan said at quarter time how important it was to get the ball away from the centre. And when it's Geelong that gets it away, they seem to be scoring goals. If it's Essendon that gets it away, they seem to be able to score the goals. Harvey's pass for O'Donnell was a good one.
I've been impressed by Barnes for Geelong, Robbo. He's really worked hard. He's got three big men to combat against. I wouldn't be surprised if Blight would have to bring Hooper on just before half-time to give him a rest.
Well, there's another very, very, very ticky touchwood free kick to Izzard. Not much in it, but still, umpire awards it, and Izzard goes in towards centre half forward.
Izzard had one of the shortest retirements on record earlier this season. Steele, quick hand pass. Hinkley this time won't get caught. Scott, safe hands in front of Izzard. Puts it up high. Hickmott! Great grab.
Free kick to Essendon.
On his ankle too, Hickmott.
Landed awkwardly. Right ankle could be the problem. Denham against his old side. Lays it off to Harvey. Onto Hills. He nearly collided with the boundary umpire out there. Hills from left half back. Danaher and Darcy. Danaher on left centre wing. Looks for a pass. Simons ultimately wasn't a good kick. The result was okay. Barnes can't take it. Long hand pass by Hurd. O'Donnell, left foot snapshot, and McGrath. Anxious moments for Geelong supporters. McGrath right across in front of goal. Now he's got plenty of room, plenty of loose men too. Kicks it up to centre wing, and oh, Hinkley. Well, that should be a free kick too, and it is. And that ankle, not too good. Let's see, lands awkwardly, Adrian Hickmott. Ooh, yes, would have certainly hurt. Another turnover at midfield, an Essendon ball. McGrath punches it down. Essendon having the numbers, but Darcy, quick hand pass onto Buse. Simons in pursuit of him. Busey, you're nearly caught. A good shepherd enables him to get his kick.
Well done by Buse. He's kicked towards half forward. Fletcher does pretty well. They're having a great battle, Fletcher and Neal. Fletcher's got the footy. Handball clear for O'Donnell. In turn to Denham. And Denham's kick goes in towards centre half forward. A high leap by Barnes. Gatherers by Buick. Buick's kick to full forward. Bounce! For Salmon, and he gets the goal. Well, a little fortunate there, Paul Salmon, because an awkward bounce to the Geelong defender results in a goal for Essendon.
Yes, more than a little, I think. Paul Salmon caught behind, but the football was spinning very quickly end on end, as you'll see, and they do either one of two things. They jump high like that, or they grub up. And unfortunately for O'Reilly, who did everything right taking the front position, it reared up quickly like a cricket ball on a popping crease.
5 goals each to Yabblett for Geelong and Salmon for Essendon. So the fans being treated here as Pickering gets the ball away from the centre, and Yabblett, well, you could have put anyone on Yabblett then and it wouldn't have made any difference because the ball came down so quickly.
Yes, it was classic football. Quick tap out of the centre from Barnes, going to Pickering, who delivered it magnificently. Gary Hocking has been on his own for 5 minutes.
Well, I think they're lucky that that's not allowed, because the angle that Hocking would have been on was going to be nigh on impossible. At least Yabblett, he'll kick the distance easily. You wonder why he did it.
Yes, perhaps it was just the intensity of Gary Hocking's call.
Too obvious, so I better do it. Gary Yabblett for goal number 6. And he doesn't miss it, straight through the centre. 6 goals, 3. And we've still got 10 minutes left in this second quarter.
We'll write this goal down to Barnes, because that is a magnificent tap. And good work from Pickering. It was an easy take, but they are the most important possessions in football, the ones out of the middle. And the delivery was superb. Yabblett didn't let him down.
Goal-kicking feast at the MCG. Salmon has 5 and now Yabblett has 6, and only 2 points the difference. What a game. Certainly on paper it looked that way. It's turning out just the same. Gary Hocking out of the centre, kicks to Yabblett, and he marks this one as well. And Derek Kickett, wry smile almost, looks around. What more can he do? So Yabblett for 7.
And Alessio coming off the ground to be replaced by Somerville, and that would be due to Barnes' dominance in that centre bounce area at the moment.
Yabblett from 45. Might have missed. He has. Another behind in his tally. I have him as 5. You have him as 4. But I don't think we'll start a World War III over at Robbo. Let's go down to Bernie. Hickmott had an injured ankle. Bernie, what's the word?
Yes, Peter, they have his right boot off and are retaping that right ankle very heavily. He doesn't appear to be in a lot of discomfort, Peter, but I think he will be okay if necessary to come back on later in the game.
Liam Pickering taking the mark. The Cats via Stall and North Melbourne. Hooks that one a little bit. Somerville, Thompson, around Couch, just, and the kick rebound over the boundary line.
So once again, Robbo, Derek Kickett, he is a worry there.
Dear me.
Kick that one straight back.
If we're worried, what are the boys in the coach's box like?
Gets a job there every week, though.
There was one other little thing in that passage of play, which I don't want to be too critical of Mark Thompson. I think he's been a fantastic player, but Gee whiz, he could have just put a little right foot on that ball and kicked it round the boundary line. Every time he comes in towards the centre of the ground. This time the hand pass for Mercedes was okay. His kick in towards centre half forward. No mark taken by Darcy. Taken away by Buse. Buse out towards left half forward. Thompson punches away. Mercedes get rid of it quickly. He does for Wanganeen. Lovely little hand pass for Ollerenshaw. His high kick. Centre half forward. Hurd can't mark. In trouble, James Hurd, with a knee, I feel. Not going at the football with anywhere near the same look. He looks a little worried. He was in the hands of the physio about 10 minutes ago and obviously having a few problems overcoming that concern. 50 metres from the Essendon goal. Barnes barges his way through and bashes the ball back towards the wing. Mercedes gets back quickly. Short kick is not bad, and Hurd makes a little bit of a liar out of me there by marking at right half forward. He kicks it in to the centre half forward area. No mark taken. Mercury tries to get the hand pass away. Overrunning it is Tudor. Handball, Wanganeen in the action. Malakalis gets the handball for McGrath. Good tackle by Simons. They'll wear them down eventually. Wanganeen's kick to the goal square. It's taken through by O'Reilly for a rush behind to Essendon.
Gavin Wanganeen, only 4 possessions today, and his confidence really is a little bit down at the present time. His form over the last few weeks has been pretty ordinary.
Tim Darcy, left back pocket, thumping kick. Ollerenshaw, well tackled, and the ball spills free. Hurd, quick hand pass. Gary O'Donnell just off the edge of the centre square. Centering kick from him, and the best judgment of all shown by Darren Buick.
Oh, and the best judgment again, because I think he was looking to run on Gerard. What do you reckon?
Yes, he covered every aspect and angle there, Bubba.
Nearly a rush of blood to the head, but luckily he still has the football. For Essendon fans, about 45 metres out directly in front of goal. Kick 1. He's now kicked 2. And the goals keep coming at the MCG. 10-7, Essendon 67, leading Geelong 8-11-59.
And here's another one, Robbo, where you wonder why they even attempt to play on when they're 35 metres out from goal, and he can kick the ball enormous distances for a little fellow, Darren Buick.
At that great game in Perth that we had the privilege of watching when the Bombers went down to the West Coast Eagles. He was their only really effective forward, wasn't he, that day? Originally, of course, coming from Western Australia, from West Perth in 1988, second in Essendon's best and fairest in 91. Back to the centre. Still nobody with a clean possession. Tackled by O'Donnell. Flips it up in the air.
Well,
Barnes. Hills. A quick left footer down to half forward, and Darcy takes the mark, decides to stream downfield with the football. Penetrating kick finds Paul Couch on the edge of the square. Quick hand pass onto Gary Hocking. He'll kick from inside 50, blazes away at goal and hits the post. Second post of this quarter to the Cats. And Yabblett, of course, had the other one.
You know, Bernie made a special mention before the game about the hardness of the centre area. You can see, can't you, the
Dusty.
ball bouncing. Well, it's just bouncing so awkwardly. Players are going for it with no confidence whatsoever. And kicks it back in towards this near side half-back flank region. Scott bashes it in the Malakalis direction. In turn, Pickering, lovely shot, goal. Liam Pickering kicks his first goal for the Cats, and it's just 1 point the difference. 5.5 minutes left in the second quarter.
And Liam Pickering is proving to be a valuable pickup for Geelong. Once again, that kick out was fairly ordinary. That could have been construed as a throw because I don't think the fist was closed. But good rebounding work from Geelong, who are doing it well from the kick-ins.
Pickering's first goal, 5.5 minutes left in the half. Barnes against his old club. 67 plays 66. Top match. Pickering again to Couch, offloaded by Thompson. There's going to be a free kick for that. A good hip and shoulder. The umpire's closer, as we always say. Or kick it. Did he get into the back of Yabblett? Peter Cameron says play on. Yabblett does. Snaps and kicks it behind. What a game he's having.
Well, you'd have to be
nearly been a free kick more so.
Yes,
than
it
a
was
couple of the
more
others.
so than the other one. You're dead right, but you'd have to be critical of Yabblett on that occasion because Robert Scott was running past, and what was required there was the basic handball, not the mercurial kick round the corner.
O'Donnell from the kick in. Somerville, left half back. He's had a stint on the bench. Hocking can't take the mark. Hurd a chance. Hills likewise. And the Cat defenders able to tie it up with 4 3/4 minutes left in the half. Tim McGrath was the last to get up. Started on Paul Salmon. Was quickly moved. I don't think he'd be too unhappy with that decision. Barnes and Somerville. Somerville to Denham against his old club too. McGrath fumbles at the crucial moment, takes the hand pass ultimately from Pickering. Close to the boundary line. Bairstow, he has been paid the mark right on the line.
A good effort by Bairstow there, just behind the wing. So he'll put Geelong into their attacking half. Nice long kick to right half forward. No mark taken. Punched away by Fletcher. And there'll be a throw in between centre wing and right half forward for Geelong. Yabblett, who's kicked 6 goals, Salmon with 5, have certainly entertained the sizable crowd here at the MCG. A free kick out of the ruck contest. It'll go to Somerville. He copped a few ironical cheers just a few moments ago when he took a mark. Essendon fans a bit harsh on Peter Somerville, I think. He's kicking towards the centre of the ground. Punched away, back towards the centre-half back area. Fletcher was going for the hand pass, then the short kick for Wanganeen. Wanganeen, who's been a little quiet, he's kicking towards centre-half forward. Salmon. Too tall and in a great posse in front of O'Reilly.
Yes, I think that was O'Reilly's mistake there, Robbo. He just allowed Salmon to nudge in front of him. If you see here, he had the front position and then was looking for Salmon with his arm and his body. Salmon evaded it, took the front berth, and then it was all over.
Well, we could have the ideal situation here at half-time with maybe only a goal separating the teams and the 2 key forwards, each with 6 goals. Salmon going for his 6th. Salmon has got his 6th. So fantastic exhibition by both Paul Salmon and Gary Yabblett. 6 goals apiece.
Yes, as we have a look at this mark once again, kick from Dustin Fletcher. The ball will be transferred by young Wanganeen, which does result in a goal to Salmon. But Sheedy obviously trying to unbalance the Geelong side. He has swapped Izard. He comes off the ground and big Alessio back on. Very short for a very tall player.
169 games, 409 goals for Paul Salmon now in his AFL career, which began in 1983. Hinkley, plenty of pace, beautiful penetrating kick. Yabblett got into the back of his opponent. Wanganeen comes out with the football.
Sure, no advantage.
Well, I guess he saw that his eyes were on the ball.
Yablett's getting the free kick.
He could have knocked me over the field.
Oh, come on. Gee whiz.
We're all smiles up here. Let's take a look. Well,
who's interfered with him?
Well, he did. I think Kickett may have just had a bit of a tickle on the behind of Gary Yabblett, but that's all it was, just a tickle.
Gee.
Oh, that's the most blatantly wrong decision I've seen this year.
Speaker Ian Robertson. Too many at the MCG would disagree, Robbo, but it's a goal. Yabblett gets his 7th. Mark Harvey looks puzzled, and so do many others. 11-7 to 10-13.
Derek Kickett, were you guilty or not? Just got a funny feeling there may have been a little bit more into it.
Well, did he push him? I suppose that's the only thing that you could say.
I think he's got... This guy is the best at making it look worse than it is.
Yes, well, he certainly had his hands there, but didn't appear to be a really bad shove, did it? However, it's where they're paid off in these free kicks.
So Yabblett, another one in controversial circumstances, certainly. Somerville, O'Donnell, Simons. Kicked off the ground. Buse. Good shepherd by Hinkley. Buse over the top. Long hand pass to the running Bairstow. Gives it back to Pickering, who tries to tap it forward to the run of Riccardi. Succeeds in doing that. Long kick by Riccardi. This time Yabblett front position. Off the hands of he and Kickett and out of bounds in the right forward pocket. Oh,
come on.
Gee. The book will come out for that. And I don't think you could argue with that. Peter Cameron having a few words to say to Mark Harvey.
Yeah, that's frustration because of the decision that was given just a couple of minutes ago, I'm sure. We saw him shaking his head after that decision, and Yabblett kicked the goal.
I think he was also suggesting he was provoked. Perhaps Gary Yabblett may have just infringed in the mouth area there from Mark Harvey.
Well, it doesn't help, does it, when you...
No. Well, you cannot go on the way Harvey did on that occasion, no matter what happens.
Banana kick. One behind.
Well, Gary Yabblett could have kicked 5 or 6 goals this quarter.
He's kicked 7, and he's kicked 6 behinds.
Yes, and a couple of very easy shots in the last 15 minutes.
Kickett's kick goes in towards centre-half back. No mark taken. Chance for Couch. Gets rid of the football fairly quickly. Bew's in a little bit of trouble, but he's able to thread his way through. Ducks past Somerville and goes for goal. Yabblett knocked away by Kickett. And for goodness sake, don't touch number 5. You may give away a free kick.
Endangered species.
Well, I mean, I guess in our area we've been pleading with umpires to give forwards a fair go, but sometimes I feel that they go overboard. That kick-in is quite magnificent. O'Donnell running with the flight of the ball.
Courageous mark, wasn't it?
Yes, well, he had a better go at it than Gary Hocking because it had gone over the players' heads, and O'Donnell marks between half-back and centre wing. His kick goes in towards the centre of the ground. No mark taken there. McGrath, handball across his body, goes back towards Mercury, who ducks out of trouble. Can't get his kick away. Good effort there for Geelong by Scott. McGrath, handball back for Scott. He's going to get a reward here. Steele dashes past in support. Pickering. Pickering goes for goal. Yabblett and Kickett, but another behind results for the Cats. Just seconds left. Pickering having something to say as the siren will sound as soon as Derek Kickett kicks it back into play. So at half-time, we have the setup for a magnificent second half. Geelong 10-16, Essendon 11-7. There is the siren, and that is the score at half-time. Geelong leading by 3 points.
And what a quarter the Cats in that term, adding 5 goals, 11. And Gary Yabblett was one of the culprits. Missed a few that he certainly should have kicked. Essendon kicked 5 goals, 2. And the hoots of the crowd for, well, shall we say, some puzzling decisions late in the quarter. And Gary Yabblett certainly on the end of a couple of them, and could have kicked, as we said, a lot more. So the game is at a very interesting stage. 2 quarters to go. Mark Harvey having his number taken late in the term. 10-16 Geelong, leading the Bombers by 3 points at the MCG.
The name of the game is Australian.
The Cats lead by 3 points as we begin the second half. 10-16 plays 11-7. Knocked down by Somerville. Onto O'Donnell. Mercury, a little give. No free kick paid there. And that's Scott taking it from Hocking. Ollerenshaw in pursuit. Kick up towards Couch. Masiti beats him for it. Danaher. Ollerenshaw. Danaher again. Mercury. O'Donnell. Scott. Misses with the tackle. O'Donnell straight down the ground. Salmon the target. Buick roves it superbly, runs into an open goal, kicks and puts the Bombers back in front. Darren Buick's third. 12-7 to 10-16 at the MCG.
Gary O'Donnell started the second half particularly well. That's his second possession, getting it down to Salmon, who could have been infringed perhaps. Good goal to Buick. But I just believe this first 5 minutes of the second half will be all important. Sheedy would have been in there pumping them up, saying it's us against Geelong and the umpires. We've got to lift. Let's drag it out now.
Hooper on the ground to tackle Somerville.
Well, actually, Peter Essendon had 15 free kicks to Geelong's 12, but it's always a bit questionable, I suppose, where they're given. Kicking towards the centre of the ground, a mark has been taken by Hills, and again, a decision unusual against him, and it goes to Riccardi, who hand passes to Hinkley.
How far?
A little bit too far, maybe. Away for Pickering. Pickering's kick into the right forward pocket region. Steele, tackled well by Thompson, gets the handball away for Darcy. He's tackled. Is that dropping the ball? No, he's still got it underneath. Darcy tackled by Thompson. Geelong given every chance to clear the ball. Now eventually maybe a free kick has been picked out, and it will be taken by Darcy, and it could have been against Mark Thompson.
Yeah, infringed after he just dropped the ball in front of him. He did tap it with his fist, so it was paid as a handball and an infringement.
Gary Yabblett coming in for kick number 16. He's taken 9 marks and kicked 7 goals, 7 so far. Those vice-like hands. Bit of an angle. Shouldn't bother him, and doesn't. He's kicked 8 goals, 7. So Yablett's personal tally is 55 points out of Geelong's tally of 82, and the Cats regained the lead.
Have a look at the spring on Yabblett. Not one of his biggest, but Kickett didn't even come over the top to spoil. He was expecting his teammate to back into Yabblett. You cannot do that. It's a vital backman ploy. You must go with him. And it just probably shows Kickett's inexperience at playing in the last line.
8 goals to Gary Yabblett, 82 plays 79. A thriller at the MCG. O'Donnell puts Essendon into attack again to half forward, and Mark Harvey playing at attack now has taken the mark. And the boos for that incident in which he was involved with Gary Yabblett in the second quarter, obviously. Certainly a controversial one. But a great season Harvey's having.
Yeah, shouldn't worry Mark Harvey. An experienced campaigner. There wasn't much in that infringement.
Harvey right on 50. Maybe has just drifted it off at the last moment. Right on the goal umpire, and one behind. Mark's first score of the day. A minor one to the Bombers. 12-8. The difference now 2 points.
Well, if he's playing on the half-forward line, they must have made a change across half-back. Essendon can't quite pick it up. Fletcher still on Neil. The kick in goes to the far side of the ground. Punch goes down. Mercury now for Mercedes. Mercedes further for Buick. Buick, yes, ducks and weaves beautifully. Gets into the clear. Snapshot for goal by Buick. He's offline. And through for a behind. So Denham on the ground playing at half-back for Essendon.
He's a bit short for that position, isn't he?
Well, I think he's picking up as a tutor over there. Can't quite pick up the Geelong player, but certainly similar heights. Harvey gathers, kicks in towards the forward pocket area. Out comes Hinkley, gathers, handball for Hocking, Stephen. Riccardi gets some space for himself and then kicks it high, half forward. Oh, nearly a mark. Bairstow caught, dispossessed. Denham's little kick was good. Hills has taken the mark and fortunately just gets his kick away for Harvey. Harvey, McGrath, still now McGrath goes over the boundary line. No, all clear, says umpire Russo. Throw it in, please.
Which they will do at mid centre wing.
As Denham's opponent is Lee Tudor.
21 minutes left in the third quarter. Peter Riccardi with O'Donnell in pursuit. Kicks to midfield. No mark taken. Oller and Shaw. Scott off the ground. And the ball going from one side of the ground to the other. Wanganeen and Scott. Wanganeen. Scott. Is he being held? No. Fletcher. Wanganeen wins this little contest and well played. Up towards centre wing. Hills, good mark. They've heard. Two blondes very much alike. We've got a little bit of a problem with the knee in the first quarter. Seems to be all right. Somerville, strong grab. Stint on the bench at one stage. Goes in short. He'll be looking for the other big tall, and Salmon doesn't let him down. Paul Salmon booted 3 goals in about 8 minutes in the first quarter. He's kicked 6 so far.
Yes, good move from Salmon and from Essendon here. Somerville, good to see him showing some confidence, taking a good grab at centre half forward. And Essendon flooded the outer side, leaving the members' wing and flank vacant, and that's where Salmon ran. Obviously, I'd say a pre-planned move from Sheedy for his forwards.
6 goals, 3 against the name of P. Salmon so far. The big fish from 45 metres. Starts it out right, brings it back a little bit, but not enough, and only one behind. 6-4 now against the Bomber number 3. 12-10 to 11-16. That means scores Mr. Robertson dead level.
Okay, Geelong kicking the ball back into play. And Buse has taken the mark. Stephen Hocking receiving. Kicks it in towards the centre of the ground. Good punch by Chris Danaher. Now a chance for Masidi. Oh, wonderful, but a throw by Joe. You had to get rid of it quickly, and the umpire was right on the ball there. Geelong take the free kick. Hinkley takes the hand pass from Pickering. Hinkley's kick, not too good. McGrath in trouble. Buick chasing, forces McGrath to kick with his left foot. Bit of a push and shove over on this near side wing as Simons, Darcy, Hills and Riccardi, as the emergency umpire comes out to appeal to Paul Hills, maybe for a little quiet. Boundary throw in. Geelong set to clear. Couch. Got some space. Hand pass. Gary Hocking. Outside 50 metres. His kick into the pocket. Yabblett using his body.
Held. Had him around the waist.
Yes, Gary Yabblett is really just playing for these free kicks at the present time. He's leaning back on Kickett. Here he goes. And Kickett really has no other option to get the arm around him and try and punch it away. But good burrowing work there from Paul Couch. He's playing as a second centre man. Half forward flank moving into the centre after the bounce and interchanging with Bairstow.
Yabblett has now kicked 9 goals. Nine goals, 7 out of a scoreline of 12-16. Certainly tells a story.
Here's Paul Couch, who had a slow start to the season but has really picked up the tempo. Good hands from Couch. Now you see that infringement. Not a great deal in it, but this is a dilemma for the umpires. Do they pay the ticky touchwards or they don't?
Nine goals to Gary Yabblett. And we're only into the third quarter with 18 minutes left. So how many is he going to finish with? Back to the centre. 6 points in favour of the Cats. Grenvold out of the centre for the Bombers. To half forward. Hinkley backtracks. Hurd is there with him. So too is Buick. Snapshot by Buick. Here's a little beauty. Will it bounce? It hit the post. It stopped and propped right on the line. It was a goal for all money. Darren Buick has to settle for a minor score. Here's tally 3-2. 5 points the difference. Hinkley, a half back, unloads with a hand pass. The Cats stream downfield. This is McGrath. Pinpoint accuracy with that pass. He's found Steele. Steele short of right half forward. Riccardi. Danaher. Around Tudor. Long hand pass to Harvey. Back in defence away from Bairstow. Chips the ball short and the mark taken by Joe Masiti right on the defensive 50-metre line. Gets the Bombers moving quickly. Good long kick to the edge of the square. McGrath has front position. A juggle. Taps it over the top. Whistle has gone. And it's going to be a free kick going Geelong's way. And McGrath is going to be the recipient. Thought about giving it to Hooper. Let's take a look at what happened there. Arm on the shoulder, I guess, Gerard.
Yeah, clearly an infringement.
So the Cats. Hooper giving it to Hinkley. Down to half forward. And it is Neald with the mark. Neald had a great first quarter. 6 kicks in the opening term. Chips it short. Pickering. Right foot into Yabblett. And that's what happens when the numbers game goes your way. Darcy takes the mark.
Sheedy's made a change too. James Hurd looks as though he's down at fullback now on Gary Yabblett. Just like to have a look at this. Yabblett keeping Hurd out of the contest. Is that a free kick?
Oh, I think it's great play from Yabblett. Ball pretty well within the 5 metres. Good shepherding.
Darcy, point blank range, kicks and gets the goal.
Yes, well done from Tim Darcy. He ran all the way down from the defensive half-back line. He's been playing on Simons for Essendon. And good running work, followed Simons down and finished up, taking an easy mark uncontested. And by the look of Hurd there, he's got no idea how to play on Gary Yabblett either, with the way he grabbed his arm.
So Somerville in the centre to do the ruck work up against Hooper. Halfway through the third term, Geelong have an 11-point advantage. O'Donnell tries to get it clear. Hand pass effective. Harvey in a little bit of trouble, but hooks the kick. and it finishes with Mercury. Now Salmon's on his own in the goal square. McGrath's getting back to fill a bit of a hole. Salmon can't take the mark. It's punched away. Rebounds back towards Hinkley, who's starting to have an influence on the back line. Starting attacks. Grenvold marks the Hinkley kick. He plays on. Kicking towards the centre. Effective. The mark is taken by Mercury. Looking to pass it off. Salmon leads. Now, that's good. That's really, really good. If it's going to happen down one end, it has to happen down the other end, so Salmon gets the free kick.
There was actually no need for this push out. In fact, it looked as if Salmon was the one who took his eyes off the ball the first time, worried about McGrath. But McGrath has done it well in the last 2 forays forward for Essendon, blocking off Salmon. You still have to question that one, Robbo.
Yes, I don't doubt that, Jared, but if it's going to happen for one, it must happen for the other. And
what you're saying, there's not much in it.
Well, there's not much in it. There's been a lot of soft free kicks all day. But Salmon has a chance to kick his 7th goal. And it's going to be pretty close. It's through for a goal. So the goal-kicking feast by both key forwards continues here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Yabblett has kicked 9 and Salmon has now kicked 7.
Well, I thought Hinkley just tried to do a little bit too much on that occasion. He could have handballed off to the teammate close. Grenvold turns the ball over. Let's just have a look at this free kick again. Long kick from Mercury. Salmon definitely drops his head first.
7 goals to Paul Salmon now. 89 plays 94. Geelong still in front. Somerville from the circle. A long kick by the Bomber Ruckman. That's a good mark for Simons, who's kicked 2 goals, both of them coming from frees. Salmon makes a lead, and he's led into the pocket, gives McGrath the opportunity. He overruns it. A flip back to Mercury from Salmon. Simons applies a tackle. Ball spills free out the front, enables McGrath to clear. Only a short kick. Good tackle by Danaher. The ball is pinned with Couch. That's holding the ball.
Well, we don't want to harp on the umpires, but how Couch had a chance to get rid of that one will be.
2 Essendon players lead for it. Harvey takes the mark. Mark Harvey covering plenty of territory and getting plenty of attention in the 3rd quarter.
Sheedy's really thrown his big guns up forward in this quarter. Danaher kicks this one to Mark Harvey, who started his career as an unbelievably gutsy half forward. He's also got kick it up there now. Somerville and Salmon.
And the best and fairest at 92. Won the club's goal kicking way back in 85, but not with kicks like that, and only one behind.
Let's make the point on that kicking of Harvey. Put him in the defensive half, and he's one of the best kicks in the AFL. Get him near the goals, and he's very jittery.
Hinkley kicks in. Onto Steele. Short of half-back. Marking contest just off the edge of the square. Hooper with bulk. Past Fletcher. Onto Scott. Around Oler and Shaw. Tudor. Haven't seen much of him today. Marks in front of Denham. Playing against his former club. Hills or Hurd. Yabblett. Snap. Number 10. Brilliant snapshot from the champ. Moves into double figures, and the Cats move into 3. 14-16. 100 with a great goal from Gary Yabblett.
Well, this one will definitely go very close to winning goal of the day. Gary Yabblett uses the boomerang from Banana Alley. As you see, bad luck there for Hurd. There's the boomerang. Straight through the middle. A great goal from the alley.
So back in the centre, Geelong lead by 10 points. Neither ruckman having an influence there. Hills goes further back to Oler and Shaw. His kick up towards centre half forward. Harvey nearly takes the mark. Simons hemmed in. Kick it goes to ground. Could be nearly penalised. No, he's going to get the free kick. Bit lucky, Derek. Goes long in the Salmon direction. Into the goal square. O'Reilly gets rid of Salmon. Still the football right on the point of the square. Buse has got it. Not going anywhere. The Bomber fans behind the goals down there going absolutely berserk. As umpire Russo will bounce. Salmon appealing. And umpire Russo. And Essendon obviously having the better of the centre bounces. Ruck contest. Oh! That was too easy, Mercury. Well, I don't think Malcolm Blight would be too impressed with that. Mercury kicks the goal for Essendon, and it's back to just 4 points the difference. 100 plays 96.
The Barnes just a fresh man back onto the ground. It was a 0-0 result there between him and Somerville. But Mercury was pleased because he did some magnificent ruck work there and kicked a goal.
Mark Mercury with his first goal makes the difference. Now only 4 points. Somerville. Pickering tries to barge through. It's Joe Masiti. Masiti up towards Salmon, who marks directly in front. This is a treat. Salmon at one end, Yabblett at the other.
He looked a little proppy then, Paul Salmon, after he took the mark. We'll have another look at it.
Yes, a magnificent disposal from
Yes,
Joe
he did,
Masiti.
didn't Has he had hamstring problems at all, Paul Salmon, you know?
Not of late. He's had that
just
knee, of course.
Knee.
Cramp. See how he kicks at goal. He's kicked 7. 7-4 to be precise. He's kicked 8-4 now. What a game at the MCG. 102 to 100, Essendon by 2 points.
Well, I haven't got the books to tell me the answer the question, but I wonder if there's ever been a game where the side has lost and their full forward has kicked 10 goals, perhaps even more. Gary Yabblett just dominating at one end, and this man on the end of that beautiful kick there from Joe Masiti has kicked 8 and really killing them up the other. Well done.
He's got to show
Salmon.
some mental strength now, I think, Salmon, for the rest of this game, because he looks to me as though he's a little bit injured, and he's such an important player.
2 points the difference. Maybe they can nurse him through, Robbo. Hocking couldn't get clear. Wangadine can. Out of the centre again come the Bombers. Simons doesn't get the bounce that he would have wanted. McGrath. Bounce is better for him. Quick hand pass onto Stephen Hocking. Then he runs into trouble. Finds McGrath with pinpoint accuracy with the hand pass. He'll go out wide to Robert Scott. Scott at left centre wing. Some good shepherding. Couch. Might have been taken high, but was also a little bit slow in getting rid of the football. Bairstow comes out with it. But the 89 Brownlow medalist has got the free. Just off the edge of the centre square. And the Cats get the quick reply. Gary Hocking, unmarked at left half forward. Short pass from him. Yabblett on a lead. And Hurd has got the job of minding him now. Peter Cameron shows him where the mark is. Now Yabblett has kicked 10. 10-7. Angle's pretty acute. It's nearly on the boundary line. Kick number 19 for the champ. Distance is there. Accuracy looks pretty good. It's another one. 11. And we're running out of room in the footy record. 15-16 to 15-12.
Well, Gary doesn't mind a shootout from both ends. Well done, Paul Couch again on the receiving end of a free kick. Gets this ball to Hocking. And Yabblett just shooting away. Gary Yabblett, one of the quickest players in the AFL. If he's given room to move, will be stopped by nobody. And that's Geelong's 5th goal straight this quarter, which is a far different story to that of last quarter.
Alan Izard on the boundary line as the ruckmen go at it again. Somerville tries to get it down for Wanganeen. Scott shrugs a tackle. Barnes kick going nowhere. O'Donnell just gets his foot to it, which is one of Gary O'Donnell's great fortes. Simons marks, goes in towards Salmon, and he's got it again. This is unbelievable.
He's hurt now. He landed pretty awkwardly.
Well, down one end of the ground, we've got Gary Yabblett marking and kicking goals. And have a look at this fellow.
You asked for mental courage and strength, Robbo. That was a ripper. Kept his eye on the football, and I think last year he was troubled by a groin injury for most of the year and was playing less than 100% fit, so perhaps there's been a recurrence of that. No matter what the injury, this is a vital goal for Essendon. You can't miss goals in tight matches like this from 15 metres out directly in front.
Well, it was pretty close at half-time, and it's been goal for goal so far in this third term. Salmon shoots for goal and misses. Well, that was a bad miss. 8 goals, 5. He's kicked, and Gary Yabblett, 11 goals, 7.
Well, if he was a golfer, he'd be taking a 2-stroke penalty for that one, I think.
Gee, it's a big score between the two of them, isn't it? 19 goals, 12 or something between the two of them.
They're both listed third in the record. Their strokes are going to meet in the middle. Greenwald comes out with it, high kick, only travels about 30 metres. Salmon, McGrath, kick it. We'll look for a hand pass. Hills, right on 50, long shot. Will it get there? It's cleared. I think the line. Yes, sir, it's a goal. Hills kicks his first, and Essendon 16-13 take the lead again from Geelong 15-16.
Gee, that was a good handball by Kickett, wasn't it? He could have given the short one, but he gave the right one, I thought, and finished.
He certainly did. I just thought Andrew Hughes perhaps didn't quite judge that one correctly. Hills has been, and Riccardi have fought a pretty close battle on the wing.
Just over 8 minutes left in the third quarter. The Bombers back in front by only 3 points, 109-106. What a game at the MCG. Hills off the ground. Harvey. Mercury. Too far out to score. Kick and a half from goal. Salmon the target. Can't drag it down this time. Liam Pickering. Oh, gee, that was nearly a throw. Barnes gets rid of it quickly. O'Reilly. Shepherd by Hinkley. Out to Gary Hocking at left half-back. Plenty of room for him. Buick, you won't catch him. Certainly a good attempt. Wanganeen, more than a great attempt. It was a great mark.
Yes, and Paul Salmon, I just kept an eye on him chasing there. He's got 2 gears at the present time, and he certainly is hobbling. And notice Adrian Hickmott back on the ground.
Grenvold's kicking towards full forward, looking for Salmon.
Yes,
he does well, does very well, does extremely well. Magnificent stuff by Salmon. And I say that because he is in a little bit of trouble. And he's such a key player for the Bombers if they're to win this game. And he's now kicked, Peter, that's 9, isn't it?
Oh. Read the map, Robbo. I think it's 9.
9 goals, 5.
Well, that was almost a slow ball from Paul Salmon because the way he attacked the football, let's have a look at this. I didn't think he was fair dinkum. He's just going half pace. Stephen O'Reilly perhaps didn't think he was fair dinkum, but the long arm, the long tentacle of Salmon stretched out, he trapped it, and goal.
9 goals, 5 to Paul Salmon, 11 goals, 7 to Gary Yabblett, 115-106. Can the Cats come back with a quick reply now? Izar out to centre wing. Hocking and Denham. Scott there for assistance. It's close to holding the ball.
I think Denham was a bit lucky he wasn't penalised there, although Gary Hocking may have been falling.
Malcolm Blight looks on interestedly. 7 minutes left in the term. What a quarter of football. What a match.
6-6 to Essendon so far to 5 goals straight Geelong in this quarter.
Cats had the inaccuracy problems in the second term. Grenvold has turned it over. Oh, Barnes, a bad fumble. Might still get out of it, he will. Hickmott, who had a badly injured ankle, came back on, or has come back on. Scott, long kick, Ablett, good use of the body, great mark. Strong, this fellow. And coming in for goal number 12.
Well, you called it, Peter. It was good use of the body. Hurd had no opportunity there. Ablett had the sit. He was a yard behind him and just nudged him out. No infringement.
Hinkley off and Malakalis on for Geelong.
Ablett for his 12th. The Cats need one. And he's kicked one. 12 goals, 7. The total for Gary Ablett. Essendon still lead by 3 points.
Well, what do you say about a man that kicks 12 goals in less than 3/4 of football?
Well, what about the guys on the sports book that have had a go at the goal kicking? If you've backed Gary Ablett, you'd be pretty happy at the moment, wouldn't it?
And it's incredibly, Geelong aren't clearly on top in this game. In fact, they trail on the scoreboard.
Well, Essendon lead by 3 points, but it's been a terrific struggle in this third quarter. The Bombers have kicked 6 goals, 6, and Geelong have kicked 6 straight, and their full forward Gary Ablett has kicked 12 goals. Oh, lucky a little bit of talking there between Thompson and Hurd marks. Short kick into the centre, looking for Mercedes. Mercedes marks, handball away. Thompson under a little bit of pressure, but gets his kick away. Out towards the wing. Riccardi, no, free kick to Simons. I feel it'll have to go back to Michael Simons. And he's between centre wing in the centre of the ground. His kick in towards full forward. No mark taken. Ball comes to the back where Buse collects it and kicks it wide where Riccardi has taken the mark. Looking to give the hand pass off. Gary Hocking in a little bit of trouble. Keeps his footing beautifully. The key word, keep your footing. Handball, perhaps a little awkward. Geelong in trouble here on the centre wing. Essendon a chance. Hills, Thompson gets his kick away. Well done by Mark Thompson into the centre of the ground. And down goes Pickering. Harvey a little late on the scene. Gary Hocking forced to kick quickly. Up high towards centre half forward. Good mark taken by Neal. Handball Bairstow. Tackle Grenvold. Ball to Yabblett. No, he can't get hold of this one. Wanganeen goes after the footy and will receive the free kick. Gavin Wanganeen in the right back pocket for the Bombers.
Well, if Geelong will get to win this game, they need the man that shot them in front last week to fire, and that is their captain in Bairstow. Only one possession this quarter, needs a big lift.
Mercedes receiving, gives to Chris Danaher. Chris Danaher into the pocket. You've got to go, Buick. He misjudges it, and Buse marks in the left back pocket for Geelong.
Little give to McGrath. Likes these runs across the goal, out of defence. Long hand pass, O'Reilly. O'Reilly kicks to centre wing, marking contest. Hills got a fingernail to it. Riccardi dispossessed by Thompson. Good use of the body by the Bomber veteran. Out comes Steele. Steele from right centre wing, keeps the ball in play. And Dustin Fletcher taking a good mark in front of Neal. From left half back. Son of former Essendon captain Kenny Fletcher. Man in front should be Barnes. And Barnes will be paid the mark. Can't argue with that. Somerville will have to give it back. He does, ultimately. Barnes against his old club. Gets pretty close to the man on the mark in Somerville. The end result, not a good kick. Izard offloaded as he kicked. So the pressure.
I think the Barnes kick may have just hit Somerville on the hands, which forced Izard to kick quickly when he gathered the football.
Play on call, huh?
Yep.
We have a boundary throw it on centre wing. Somerville, Barnes over the top. Riccardi. Little slap out the front of the pack. Steele again. Quick hand pass. Riccardi. It's not a great kick. Oh, just bounces a couple of millimetres inside the line. So the throw-in will take place right on 50 and under 3 minutes left in the third quarter. What a quarter of football it's been.
Yes, I think Geelong at the present time need a focal point at centre half forward. Perhaps they could get Hooper onto the ground and allow Barnes, who's in the ruck at present, to go to the
Wanganeen again.
forward.
Gary Hocking made him pretty heavily. Wanganeen gets up and gives Gary Hocking a little reminder, don't do that. And Peter Cameron has words to both of them.
Well, Kevin Sheedy said that Wanganeen was a marked man during the week, as Robbo said earlier in the piece. Perhaps that's one of the reasons why.
What a great kick from Gavin. He's put that straight out of bounds. So a wasted kick.
It's a little bit sloppy there because this game is very, very tight. Just 3 points of difference. Wanganeen should have done a bit better.
Throw in close to centre wing again. Gary Hocking with O'Donnell. Pickering. Kicks it around the corner. Up the half forward. Steele. Gary Hocking. Lovely ball. Could kick it from there. Could but won't. It'll be out of bounds on the full. Tudor gets a hand to it, but it was over the line. And Sean Denham in the left back pocket will take the free.
So Denham with 2 minutes left in the third quarter to kick the Bombers away from the Geelong goal. He's a little undecided. Now he decides on the long kick out towards centre wing. Crumbs to be gathered by Thompson. Hills has a chance. Handballs in for Mercedes, who keeps on gathering possessions and does well with this kick. Finds Harvey in the centre of the ground. Harvey being booed by the Geelong fans, unnecessarily so, I think. Kick towards full forward, punched away from Salmon. Kick it, gathers it, he's caught, but gets his foot to it and kicks it back to the centre. Chris Danaher, now Mercury. Just finds a little bit of space for himself and then kicks into the pocket. No mark taken, but Buick's recovery, very good. No, he overruns it. Buse is there, handball back for Barnes. Geelong out of trouble. Barnes' kick is good, finds Malakalis at half-back. Malakalis, in turn, Riccardi marks on the wing, away from Hills.
Just over a minute left in the third term. Fletcher to midfield. Wanganeen, good knock on. Didn't quite find the player for whom it was intended. And McGrath, off the side of the boot. That's a pretty poor effort. Could have done better with that. The end result is okay because Gary Hocking's taken the mark. Brings it back up towards Spiro Melikalis. He doesn't waste any time, realising the clock's ticking down to three-quarter time. The Cats would love another goal here. Fletcher punches clear. Thompson, very clever from mid-air. Barnes in front has taken the mark and has been paid the mark in front of Kickett.
Fair enough.
Under 30 seconds. So maybe the Cats can be the only ones to score. Couch. Onto Pickering. Yabblett just touched it, I think. You have to wait on the boundary umpire. He'll throw it in. So I don't think there'll be any further scoring. Kevin Sheedy looking on from his position just outside the line. 115 to 112. Essendon leading by 3 points. Have to be a quick kick out of this for a Geelong score. Denham, a little give. To Wanganeen, onto Hills. There's the siren for three-quarter time. The last quarter promises to be a thriller. Essendon 17-13. 115 leading Geelong. 16-16, 112.
The name of the game is Australian.
The final quarter from the MCG. Essendon leading by only 3 points. A goal-kicking feast here. Already Gary Yabblett has broken the previous tally for the round, held by Bill Moore. That was in round 6 way back in 1936, and that was 11. Grenvold comes out with the football. Yabblett, of course, with 12 goals, 7 against his name so far. Somerville taps down. Grenvold again, well shepherded by Kickett. Salmon, a little bit of a nudge, just disposes of O'Reilly, and the ball goes through for one behind to make the difference 4 points.
I think that'll be the game plan for Essendon this quarter. Salmon won't be doing much leading. They want to get the ball down quickly and just bomb it into the square and hope Salmon can out-bustle his opponent.
O'Reilly kicks in. Barnes. O'Donnell. The high kick, obviously intended for Salmon. He's not in this contest, though. Good mark taken by McGrath in front of Harvey. When McAllis goes past, he decided to ignore him.
Hasn't done bad, McGrath, since being cut up in the first few minutes by Salmon.
He was moved pretty quickly too, wasn't he? Hocking, that's Stephen Hocking, gives it away to O'Reilly. And he'll bring the Cats out of danger. In fact, he's run up towards centre wing. It's pretty dark here too at the MCG. The cloud cover increasing. Wanganeen, Joe Masiti, onto Tudor, formerly of North Melbourne. A quick hand pass back to O'Reilly. Almost statuesque, but a good kick up to midfield.
And kneeled in front of Fletcher, but Fletcher just gets his long arms to it. Barnes gathers and handballs for Stephen Hocking. Stephen Hocking's kick into the right forward pocket. Hurd in front, and does well, James Hurd. Gets the ball clear of the pack. Denham for Chris Danaher. Maybe a little lucky, and Chris Danaher goes for the boundary line, which wasn't a bad ploy, because the only man he had to kick to was Barnes, who had Mercury as his immediate opponent. Ruck contest. Somerville high. Ball comes to ground. Hocking. Bounce was awkward for him. In goes O'Donnell and gets the free kick. Hocking, the infringer, and he puts his foot on the football, and by gee, was lucky he never got 50 metres there. O'Donnell's kick in towards centre half forward. No mark taken. Ball comes to ground. Kick it with the football. Little kick off the ground by Izzard. Back it goes for Buse. He's going to have to give it off, and he does nicely to O'Reilly, who backed him up quite well. His kick goes wide towards the wing. Gather out there is by Thompson, and gets his left foot to it. Simons gathers. Handball's wider for Izzard. Izzard outside 50. Kick into the pocket. Salmon. O'Reilly over the top. Back goes Steve Hocking. Got the football close to the boundary line. Whoa, he set it up for Buick, who leaves it for Mercury. His kick over his head. Harvey in front. Punched away by McGrath. Punched away by Steve Hocking. Close to the line. And we'll have a boundary throw in the left forward pocket for Essendon, about 25 metres around from their goal.
Yeah, it's a Russian roulette down there at the moment for Essendon. Paul Salmon must take some grabs to have an influence, because his man O'Reilly is running right off him.
And Salmon has kicked only a behind there. So his tally for the afternoon is 9 goals, 6. The record against Geelong by an Essendon player, incidentally, is held, would you believe, by John Coleman at 13. Way back in 1952, Fred Gallagher kicked 12 against the Cats in 1957. Darcy.
Geelong are absolutely slaughtering Essendon from the kickouts.
Kneeled in front, can't take the mark. Masiti is having a great season for the Bombers. Delivers to Mercury.
Tell you was good in that passage of play. Fletcher again.
Yes, he's been a pretty good performer at centre half-back for Essendon, and another reason why I think it wouldn't hurt Geelong to throw the big fellow Hooper onto the ground.
And Mercury will kick just inside 50. Shocking kick. Won't even be a score, or it might scrape in for a behind. No, it won't. It's out of bounds on the full. And so that will be a free kick to Stephen Hocking in the last line of defence. A little bit of bad luck late last year when he dislocated his shoulder in the qualifying final. Grenvold, a bad kick. Grenvold would almost be within kicking distance. Salmon calling for it, and quickly puts it out in front for the big fish. Now Salmon brushes his way through and will get a free kick.
What are we playing? Oh, come.
Let's just have a look at this on replay. See if the...
Gee, there's not much in that, is there, Jared?
I'll leave that one to you, Robert.
I've made my comment.
Gee.
Well, one gets the feeling perhaps the umpires are trying to square it up for the Yablets down the other end.
It's about the most sensible comment of the lot, I think. Salmon's kicked a goal. He's kicked 10. And he might even be coming off the ground. Brian Wood suggesting he move towards the interchange area, and over at the interchange area they're saying go back.
Yes, well, I believe that Salmon should come off the ground. I don't think you can have half-fit, even third-fit players out there. Sure, he has dragged a free kick on that occasion, but O'Reilly just may win the game for Geelong.
Well, Salmon's had 17 kicks for 10 goals for Essendon, and Gary Yabblett has had 20 kicks for 12 goals for Geelong. Essendon lead by 11 points. Barnes gets a big fist to it. Fletcher just gets his foot to it. O'Donnell overruns it. Basidi another important possession. Getting it clear. Hills runs and gathers. Darcy, but he gets the hand pass to Simons, who's tackled by Riccardi. Didn't have the football. And boy, maybe a little fortunate, Michael Simons. His kick in towards full forward. Salmon gets back, can't hold it. Stephen Hocking, now McGrath, backs himself and runs through. A passage of about 2 or 3 players and then kicks it in towards the centre, where a holding decision against Chris Danaher, and the free kick will go to Paul Couch. Couch kicks into the pocket. Hurd and Ablett. Ablett gets rid of him. Hurd goes back. Well done, son. And he gets his kick away. Whose free kick is it?
It went to Ablett initially.
Ablett's going to get the free kick.
Simon's coming off the ground for Alessio. And Robbo, let's just have a look at this one on replay. I want to make a point about the short handball. And there's the legging from Wanganeen. Good decision that time. But we're having a real problem now with the 1-yard handball to yourself, a bit like Bart in the old days where he used to throw the ball out. And perhaps the rule may come in that the handball has to be maybe 3 yards to be legitimate. There is a problem.
Gary Yabblett from 50 metres. And it is a magnificent kick right on the goal line. It holds up in the little heavy air. Thompson can't clear the ball. Tudor. Boundary throw in right forward pocket for Geelong as light rain starts to fall here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground.
So boundary throw in. Wanganeen takes it and then Hills. Riccardi back to Steele. More than light rain, getting a little bit heavier now. Ablett can't take the mark. He recovers well, taps the ball out in front. Bairstow looks for the free kick, didn't get one from the umpire. And it will be a bounce from umpire Peter Russo directly in front of goal. Well, this wasn't forecast today, was it, rain?
It's coming down pretty heavily now.
It is. Hasn't had rain in Melbourne for a long time. Trees are actually chasing the dogs. Danaher can't take it, or Tudor thought about soccering it off the ground. Ablett, a quick kick. Hills will mark in the back pocket in front of Riccardi. So players have to make adjustments. Those with moulded soles could be slipping all over the place. Barnes decides to play on. Does it well, beautifully delivered to Bairstow. I think it was you who said earlier, Jared, they have to get more out of Bairstow if they're to win.
Yes, they certainly need a lift from him. In fact, that lift is a little bit late in coming, but perhaps he can finish the game with a goal.
Going close, off the hands of the pack though, and through for a rush behind to Geelong.
Just getting back to that point about the handball, Robbo, we really are, the umpires are having difficulty now with players grabbing possession, knowing they're about to be tackled, and then just dropping it at their feet. And I think one day we may have a distance rule on handballs to get rid of what is becoming an obvious problem.
Yes, it sounds fairly logical. Grenvold marks the kick in. The ball is now at half forward for Essendon. Malakalis gathers. Short kick is okay. He finds Couch. Couch plays on, looking to give the hand pass away. Now gets onto his favoured left foot. The kick is pretty ordinary. In towards centre half forwards. Punched away by the Essendon defence. Back towards the centre. Gary Hocking spins out of trouble. Brilliantly done by Gary Hocking. And then kicks it equally as well. And finds Hickmott at right half forward. He's probably maybe a little too far out to score. He's pretty keen on his chances. Talented young player. It's a beautiful kick. It's a goal. Well, that is a very, very good kick by Adrian Hickmott. And he's kicked Geelong's 17th goal. The difference is just 4 points.
Well, it's an old adage in football that it may not be your day, but it may be your moment. And that certainly was a great moment for Adrian Hickmott, and it certainly hasn't been his day. He was injured early in the piece, an inversion injury to his ankle. He's doing well to be even out there.
"17 minutes left in the match. Hickmott brings it back to within a kick. Somerville down to O'Donnell. A quick kick. Pickering, or they could raffle this. The Cats, good tackle by Kickett on Hocking. Back to Spiro Malakalis from right centre wing. Up to half forward. Hickmott! Great grab! Grenvold has got the football. You have to give it back. But the lad who kicked the last goal, too far out to score this time. He'll be looking for the champ. And he's got it. No, he hasn't. Got 2 hands to it, but the rain, I think, beat him that time. Heard.
He's got one in the face there, Yabblett.
He's still down on the ground. Looks a little stunned, doesn't he? Let's see this again. This is a fine mark, isn't it?
Oh, he's an exquisitely talented player. Just hasn't put it together too well today. Had an injury.
A bounce. Catch forward line. Grenvold slung. Barnes backs his judgment. Danaher, quick give. Over to Barnes, who said thank you very much. Fletcher, yes, you'd have to pay that, wouldn't you, surely? Dustin Fletcher. I don't want to be the first to call him Dustin Hoffman. Onto the wing. Somerville taps down. Gee, Hocking was held by the arm there. Nothing for it. Mercury, tackled by Couch, scoops it up underneath him. He goes over the line. So too is the footy. 15.5 minutes left in this match. The rain has ceased, and that's good news. Little cooling shower.
Looks like the lights are on.
Yes, you're right, Rob. I was just going to say the same thing. It did get pretty dark. Hocking over to Buse. Been a tremendous game, this. Buse kick down towards left half forward. Marking contest down there, and O'Reilly, who's been moved, obviously, from fullback.
Yes, and a good mark, too. In the Yabblett direction. Gets rid of Hurd. Tudor into the goal square. Hickmott held when he didn't have the football. A rush behind is given the all clear for Geelong. Geelong fans not too happy. 3 points now, the advantage with Essendon 123 to 120.
Yeah, good move here from Malcolm Blight. He's got Neil, taken him from centre half forward, pulled him at full back. He'll be able to run off Salmon even better, and I think O'Reilly will give a better focal point at centre half forward.
Ball with Tudor. Tudor's kick across his body, and a good effort by James Hurd. Very, very hard at the football. A good strong mark. Away for Thompson. Thompson is in the right back pocket. Kicks it out towards the wing. Gather is by Mercury. Quite nicely too. Away for Masidi. Masidi couldn't have anyone down there to kick to, so he's had to kick it just along the ground. Buse is gone. Tackled by Buick. Gathered by Mercedes. Still play on. The player's looking for a free kick to be awarded, not forthcoming boundary throw-in.
Well, it's like a game of chess here at the moment. Kevin Sheedy has pushed Somerville to the forward pocket, trying to get Barnes out of the play. Now Barnes has just brought McGrath back so he can take this tap out.
Against Alessio, is it? Yes. Free to Barnes. Barnes at the left half-back flank.
Has been a very good player all day today, Barnes.
He's got a nice leap. Good kick by the former Bomber. Good punch by Fletcher, Masiti, Izard. Oh, beautifully done. Hickmott. Ablett the target. Hurd knocks it down. O'Reilly ridden into the ground. Ball spills free out the front. Denham. Long kick up to the edge of the square. Kick it. Can't handle it. Darcy. Quick hand pass. Riccardi. Blocked by Hills. Was good on Couch. Darcy again. Second chance. Quick fire hand pass. Riccardi. Malakalis. Little 9-iron chip shot. Look for Bairstow. Great mark one-handed.
I think he was actually going for Couch there, Peter, but Bairstow came through nicely and it was a good grab in the end.
I tell you what, he won't want it back, Jared, either.
Yes.
Too far out to score.
Trying to get Ablett one out now.
Ball a little bit greasy after the rain we've had. Marking contest. Ablett at the front. Well, the idea was right, but the great man has put it out of bounds on the full. So no addition to his tally for the day. He's going for his record at this ground, which was 14 against Richmond in round 9, 1989. And his former teammate, Sean Denham, is going to take the free kick.
Derek Kickett coming off the ground. Simon's back on for Essendon.
Denham kicks the ball out for Essendon. Well outside 50 metres. Up high, Barnes. What a specky.
What a great game he's
Oh,
played.
very talented player. And off the left foot. Oh!
Two good marks there.
Oh,
Barnes
have a look
first
at
and then
this.
this one.
Well, most people would say that Golly Moses is a fair description for the man they call God. A direct link.
Oh,
He has had his
man.
moments today. He's had a couple of downers, and Paul Salmon just hobbling off the ground for Essendon.
Well, this shot will put Geelong in front if he kicks accurately. And 13 goals to Yabblett. Geelong lead.
13 goals, 7.
Well, whoever's got the job at Sports World tomorrow to pick up mark of the day has got a real task ahead of them, haven't they? Hickmott earlier, Barnes, and now Yabblett.
And Ablett took one earlier in the piece also. Have a look at this fly from the big fellow, Ablett. Strength personified. And just imagine how tired he is after 100 minutes of football and a booming kick with fatigue. Great goal.
Ablett's already broken the best number of goals by a Geelong player against Essendon. It was by Jack Metherell a long, long time ago at Corio Oval. Fletcher overruns it, fisted back, intercepting is Robert Scott. Quick to get boot to ball, down to Ablett again, yes, no, play on. Played it.
Pretty lucky one, I thought. There was definitely 3 bites there, but at no stage did Gary Ablett control that one.
Well, this might equal
his fantastic position. There's 3 bites, I think. 1, 2, and well, it's a greasy ball. Perhaps the umpires have reassessed what the requirements of a mark are. What do you think, Robbo?
I'd just give him 3 votes for the day.
Fair comment.
The crowd didn't like it, the Essendon supporters didn't.
Kevin Sheedy won't like the result if he slams this through.
This will equal his 14 against Richmond, which he's done. A record-breaking performance by Gary Ablett, getting Geelong's 19th goal and one of the great performances in AFL history.
Kick it down to full forward for Essendon. Salmon off the ground. Have a look at this mark. Perhaps we're being a little bit critical. You'd probably pay that one, Robbo, wouldn't you? Right on the borderline, wasn't it?
Well, the umpire hasn't got the fortunate situation of having a replay, but maybe he's a little bit lucky. So the ruckmen go at it. O'Donnell clears. Away for Hills. Bounces it, gets inside 50 and goes for goal and misses. In the finish, in his endeavours to break clear of the chaser, his kick was a little ordinary there, Paul Hills, and Geelong lead by 8 points. Kick in, comes to this near side, marking contest, Izard, Scott. Well done, Somerville. Simon's little kick, good for Buick. Oh, Buick looking to play on.
And a bob each way there, I thought.
Yes. Summed it up pretty well. Now, this kick, if it's a goal, brings it back to just a 2-point margin in favour of Geelong. With 10 minutes left, It really will be a tragedy for one of these teams to lose the game. Buick's shot is pretty good. It's a goal. So Darren Buick has now kicked 4 goals. His performance as a goal kicker, pretty good. 10 kicks and 3 hand passes.
Here's a hypothetical one. Yabblett could kick 14 goals and his side could lose. That'd be a first, surely.
Yes, I'd reckon that's a fair comment as Oller and Shaw comes onto the ground. Good performance as a goal-kicking rover from Buick.
Under 10 minutes left, crowd in a frenzy. Geelong by 2 points. Darren Buick has now kicked 4 goals, 2. Somerville off the ground out of the centre. Oh, a little flip on. Not going Geelong's way. And they get away with this through Pickering. He's kicks to Barnes. Excellent. Sticky fingers. Yabblett at the back. Hurd. Good mark.
Well done, kid.
And to another youngster in Masiti. Tackled by Couch. Danaher. Not a good kick. The end result might be okay. O'Donnell couldn't handle it. Wanganeen gets tripped up. And he should take a free kick at right half back. Or close to right centre wing for Essendon.
This is a fantastic game of footy.
Well, you get lucky as a commentator sometimes. We put up with some pretty ordinary games at times.
Not this one.
Football this year has been fantastic, and this is one out of the box.
Sean Denham is at right centre wing. 9 minutes left in this match. A real bottler. A draw would indeed be a fitting result. Derek Kicken. Can he put the Bombers in front? Turns around, kicks at goal. And McGrath, prepared to concede a behind to the Essendon side, rushes it through for only 1 behind. And that makes the difference. 1 point. Maybe we will get the draw. 131 to 132. McGrath goes to the outer side, looks for and finds Buse.
Bad marking by Essendon. They've got 2 players loose. Buse gives the hand pass for Tudor, and Tudor runs all the way to the wing and kicks to half forward. At the back, opportunity for Wanganeen. Short kick is effective. The mark is taken by Masiti. Away for O'Donnell. The cool heads now will survive. Back for Masiti. His kick to half forward. No mark taken. Good tap on. Grenville. Bounce. Awkward. Kicks to the goal square and puts it through. Essendon in front. What a game of footy. 14 goals to 1 full forward. 9 or 10 to Salmon, is it? 10?
10-6.
And there's just 1 kick in it.
Well, this is a great goal from Grenville. Very costly turnover for Geelong on their half-forward line. Didn't have enough runners at the feet of O'Reilly. Good little give there from Masiti. But he just sizes up the goal. There's no one there. And a beautiful low trajectory kick.
Grenville, the goal kicker. Essendon supporters delirious, but there's plenty of time for the Cats to come back. They've got 8 minutes left in this match, and plenty could happen in that time. 137 to 132. Essendon by 5 points. Gary Hocking will give the Cats a chance as he bursts out of the centre, kicks to inside 50, marking contest there. Hickmott collides with Couch. That wasn't well done. That certainly was. Pickering, a little give over to Hocking. You're in trouble. Gives it back to Pickering, dispossessed by Masiti, who goes for the boundary line. Not too many options for him there. The ball still kept in play. Pickering again, caught. Wanganeen, he'll get Essendon out of danger. Oh, good vision, and he's found Darren Buick just inside the boundary line. The Bombers by 5 points in this thriller at the MCG. Up to right centre wing. Hocking, good spoil. And now Bairstow trying to steady the ship down for his side. Kicks up towards midfield. O'Reilly, a good tap on. Masiti does well. Blind turns out of trouble.
31 possessions, Peter.
Barnes with Harvey, who has had his number taken for an indiscretion earlier in the game. Barnes again with Harvey. Looks for holding the ball and nothing doing, says umpire John Russo.
Are you tired? With those players aren't they fantastic putting in?
Well, it is really going to be decided upon which team can hold their skill level up under such immense pressure. We saw Geelong lose it there because of a sloppy handball to the feet.
And still, Essendon striving to get a score on the board. And some tired players back there, Pickering and Harvey appealing for a free kick.
Let's just hope the umpires swallow their whistle for the last 5 minutes. These ones you just cannot penalise.
It may have been the Harvey tackle that eventually forced the ball over. Ruck work. Buick, Mercury, Buick. Can he cover himself in glory? Into the square. Hurried over, rushed behind to Essendon. We've got 6 minutes left. Essendon lead by 1 goal. McGrath kicks it to himself and then goes with the long kick. Well out towards the wing. Thompson, well done. Harvey, short kick, broken down. Taken away by Darcy. In for Gary Hocking, 2 bounces. Forced to kick with that left foot. Not bad, looks for hit. Oh, Wanganeen! What a spicky!
Hurt himself too.
Well, I was going to call pushing them back. Just wonder whether he had his hands on him. Well, I reckon that's fair enough.
You
Great
love
grab.
him, don't you?
I think it's a ripper.
Well, Rory Capper used to get away with them.
Well, if you take that out of the game, you're taking out what separates our game from the other codes of football, and that is one aspect that makes it a great spectacle.
46,588 witnessing one of the best games of all time. Sean Denham takes the free kick with Wanganeen still on the ground. Somerville, a little bit of steadiness now in the Essendon ship. 5.5 minutes to go in this match. Chris Danaher clear of Bairstow. He's kicked to centre half forward. Simons, yes! He's taken it. Initially one-handed, dragged it down. And Essendon looking the steadier of the 2 sides.
They're declaring Wanganeen down and out for the count at the present time, Pete. Getting carried off.
Well, Salmon's got to come back on then, doesn't he?
No.
Hills.
Handy play to have there waiting to come on.
Oliver Shaw's kick dropped short. Kick it in front. Can't take the mark. Past Hughes. Not the second time. The Cats need a goal. Oliver Shaw might get a free for in the back. He will.
Hickmott off and Hinkley on for Geelong.
And here's a replay of this incident.
Skittles, that one.
Yes, Hughes just legged even, went to the ground, gave away a free kick to Ollerenshaw.
He went for the torpedo before. He looks as though he's going to go for a drop punt this time.
Won't quite make the distance. Essendon mark to Alessio.
Barnes may have been. Is it Barnes back there in the
yes,
goal
he's
square?
the one that declared the push. He is flabbergasted. Let's just have a look now. There's the push from Somerville on Barnes.
Yeah.
The left-hand short-arm jolt.
That was more obvious than a few others we've seen during the afternoon, wasn't it?
Exactly. So Stephen Alessio, not impressive stats, but he could finish up the hero. Only 4 minutes left. And kicks a goal. His second.
Still a long way to go. 4 minutes in footy these days.
Oh, gee, they need 2 goals.
Yes, I have plenty of time with 4 minutes. Even last night we saw another example. Hawthorn looked to have the game in control, and all of a sudden after a couple of minutes the Crows are back into the business, and Barnes coming off the ground for Hooperman, who's been brought on to create a miracle.
Two goals the difference, and rain falling is going to make it, I think, a little bit easier for the Bombers to hang on here. Danaher slung, still gets a possession. O'Donnell over the top. Ollerenshaw, Danaher still down incidentally, looks hurt. Alessio, yes! He's taken the mark. Well, a goal here will sew it up for the Bombers. And as I said, Chris Danaher in a bit of trouble behind the play.
Well, he hurt his legs earlier in the game. I think we made a comment that it was a severe one.
Yes, I think he got slung by Paul Couch's tackle there. May have twisted that knee. Good mark from Alessio. He also a very big, tall player. And as the old adage goes, as the game goes on, short players get tired, but big men don't get any smaller.
Alessio for his third. 2 in the final quarter if he kicks it. He's kicked it. You'd think the Bombers are home.
I still wouldn't write Geelong off. 3 minutes.
They've got to kick 3 goals just to draw.
Maybe the rain falling is going to make it a little bit difficult for them.
Let's go down to Bernie Quinlan. Wanganeen, what's the problem, Bert?
Yes, Gavin Wanganeen came off the ground looking very groggy. He hit his head very heavily on the ground when he took that fantastic mark over the top of Hickmott. But the doctor was checking him out for concussion. He seemed to be very dazed, and I don't think he'll be back on the ground, Pete.
So Stephen Hooper doing the ruck work up against Somerville. 3 goals the difference. Ball comes down towards Mercedes, who gathers possession number 32. Hughes under pressure. Hills and Buick will share it. Darren Buick-Gathers playing his 100th game. What a great kick. A free kick. It might have been out of bounds.
Out of bounds,
where
I think.
Where Buick kicked the ball from. It looked as though he kept the ball in play, but the boundary umpire has signalled out of bounds. Well, McGrath had taken the mark, although the players back on the goal line had relaxed a little bit. It's going down to 2.5 minutes now. Couch, Gathers, handballs. O'Donnell gathers. O'Donnell kicks a score. What is it? It's a goal. Essendon now look safe. They lead by 4 goals.
Yes, a great lift from all Essendon players in this last 5 or 10 minutes. They have really lifted at one. Hasn't been any real stars, just worked as a unit, worked as a team. And have a look at this tap. It's a good smother here from O'Donnell. Couch with the ball. It wasn't actually O'Donnell, it was off his own man, the Geelong player, and O'Donnell took full benefit with a goal.
2 minutes left, and the Cats with an impossible task now. Grenville, Essendon certainly finishing the better of the two sides, and Gary Yabblett will kick 14 goals, maybe more, in what looks like being a losing side. So that would certainly be something for the history books. It's out of bounds as the clock ticks down. Fury trots back. Kevin Sheedy standing in the rain, not worried about that. Getting a little bit lighter, so perhaps the shower will pass. Bairstow to Couch, a quick kick. Masidi is in the road for Essendon. Pickering will stand the mark. Certainly rain wasn't forecast today, neither was this great match. The paper, it looked like being a beauty. Simons, the flyer, couldn't take the mark. That would have rivaled other candidates for mark of the day. And it'll be a bounce on centre wing.
He just came out of nowhere then, Simon.
He's a promising young player too.
Oh, great push-off.
Mile in the air. Peter Cameron puts it down. Simons. Put it in with a hand pass, but not mark of the day.
The Bombers have lost a couple of close ones this year. Haven't been rewarded, but today they justifiably will take home the 4 points after another slogging game.
Grenville loses it. Bairstow gives it over to Spiro Malakalis. Quick hand pass. Darcy kneeled. Simons in pursuit. Long kick up towards right half forward. O'Reilly has it punched away from him. Fletcher. Riccardi. Onger and Shaw in pursuit. Brings it back inboard. Gary Hocking takes them up.
Gary Hocking goes in the Yabblett direction. Oh, that should be a free kick, surely. Huh? Well, I'm sorry. Denham. Chance for Scott. Tries to get past Fletcher. Good tackle. O'Reilly. Close to the boundary line. Little kick smothered by Fletcher. Gatherers by Tudor. Handball back. O'Reilly. Little kick into the goal front. Bounce awkward for Pickering. Essendon will get the ball clear. Back towards the centre. There's the siren. The Bombers have won a classic football match. And there's Kevin Sheedy, a very happy man. But Essendon have won by 4 goals, 23-18 to 19-18.